And the Saints, the Rams who lead this series 36 victories to 29 defeats. Former division rivals and one of the best rivalries in the NFL while it lasted. Resuming here today in the Edward Jones Dome, and Wilkins puts his foot into the football. We are underway. This is going to be Lewis returning from his 7. He's to the 10, to the 15, up to the 20, 25, and puts his head down. He gets beyond the 25, up around the 26-yard line, a return of 19 yards for the little Michael Lewis. On comes this Saints offense. Stallworth and Horn, the wide receivers. Boo Williams, the tight end, along with Ernie Conwell, if the Saints open in a 2 tight end formation. Gandy, Jaycox, Bentley, Holland, and Riley up in front of Aaron Brooks, with Aaron Stecker, the 5th-year man out of Western Illinois, getting his first opportunity to start in the NFL. And the Saints will open it in a 2-back set with 1 tight end and Carney, the fullback, in front of Stecker in an I formation, wideouts left and right. Play action. Brooks wants to throw on first down, throws to his left, and it is complete up to the 37-yard line. It's Dante Stallworth with the catch in front of Jeremetrius Butler, switching from the left corner to the right corner, an 11-yard gain and a first down. The Rams play a 4-3. Leonard Little, Ryan Pickett, Damian Lewis, and Bryce Fisher, the front 4. It's going to be Tommy Polley along with Robert Thomas and Tino Isamoa as the linebackers. We set the secondary for you earlier. The Saints, with the first down of this game, have the football 1st and 10 at their 37. We are just underway. Ace formation. Stecker running left, tripped up as he crosses the 40-yard line. We'll see where they mark his forward progress as the Saints run it left behind Gandy and Jaycox for positive yardage.
Jim, you mentioned earlier about, what a rivalry the Saints and the Rams have been and everything else, but wouldn't you agree with me that the rivalry, it really kind of came to a head, to a boiling point once they moved to St. Louis? It really wasn't like that when they were out in Los Angeles.
No, that's true. A pickup of 4 by Stecker, 2nd and 6 from the 41 of New Orleans. 2 wideouts to the right, 1 to the left. Rams coming up in press coverage. Short set by Brooks. He fits it in there at midfield. This is going to be Joe Horn into Ram territory inside the 45-yard line. Joe Horn with his first catch and his 15th of the season, good for 14 yards. Well, we mentioned this rebuilt Rams secondary. Jeremetrius Butler, the left corner, playing on the right corner today. Aeneas Williams, the free safety, comes out of that position to play left corner. Adam Archuleta is the strong safety, and Rich Cody moves into Williams' free safety position. 1st and 10 Saints at the Ram 43, an opening possession that's been very productive thus far for the Saints as Brooks comes out from under center and calls an audible. 2 wideouts to the right, 1 to the left. Backs are split. Here's a handoff to Stecker. Aaron Stecker inside the 40, down to the 37-yard line. Brought down by the linebacker, Tommy Polley. So the Saints very efficient here early, Hoke.
Well, the Rams defense, they've been giving up a lot of run yardage, and even on the first carry that Aaron Stecker had, you said it exactly right. As he got through the line of scrimmage, he got tripped up. If he keeps his feet right there, I'll guarantee you he gets into the secondary on that first carry of the ball game. So I like what Mike McCarthy is doing right now. He's mixing everything up with the run and the pass, and he's kind of catching the Rams off guard.
Injury timeout as middle linebacker Robert Thomas is shaken up. 12:42 to play first quarter. Saints driving with the opening kickoff of this game in a scoreless first quarter. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Who can deliver your chance to win free tickets and VIP passes to Saints home games? The Abita Man can. Abita Springs Water is the official bottled water of the New Orleans Saints. Visit AbitaSprings.com, where you can sign up for a chance to win tickets and VIP passes every...
This week's Allstate Insurance Saints Radio Network peak performer is Greg DeWiron in Kenner, Louisiana. Plan today for a better tomorrow with Greg DeWiron. You're in good hands with Allstate. Robert Thomas comes to the sideline, limping and out for at least a play. And rookie linebacker Brandon Chiller checks in with Tommy Polley moving into the middle now. 2nd and 3 for the Saints at the Ram 36. Tight formation, backs in an I. Handoff straight ahead to Jana Carter, and there's nothing doing there as he is met at the line of scrimmage and probably made no gain, or a very negligible one if that. Brandon Chiller, of whom we just spoke, 4th-round draft choice, the rookie at a UCLA, in on the stop. So it'll bring up 3rd and 3 from the 36-yard line. No gain on the play for Kajana Carter on his first carry. Saints trying to keep this impressive opening drive alive. And they will bring in a 4 wide receiver set, 2 to either side, 1 back, and that is Stecker. Brooks up under center. Dropping, looking, running, taking off, and he will be dropped at the 34-yard line, just short of the first down. And it was the defensive tackle, Damian Lewis, who just tripped him up. Of course, the second cousin of Aaron Brooks.
Yes,
he last week did a whole lot.
Yeah, the Saints look like they're going for it. I mean, Jim Haslett went ahead and he sent in his 2 tight end offense. He sent Mike Carney out there and he said, hey, we're not going to try the field goal. We're going to go for it on 4th down.
It would be right about at Carney's limit. It would be close to a 51, 52-yarder, and that's just about John Carney's limit. So the Saints will go for it, ostensibly anyway, on 4th and 1 from the 34. Carney in motion. Handoff to Jana Carter. Bangs into the line of scrimmage, and with second effort gets close, but I'm not sure he got there. In fact, I don't think that he did.
Well, the way that the officials marked it, he doesn't have the first down. I mean, I think he got gypped a little bit on the spot, but the way that they're going to mark it right now, the Saints did not get it.
No, it wasn't even close. They're not even going to have to measure. So the Saints go for it on 4th and 1 and get nothing as they run it right behind Montre Holland and Victor Riley. And the ball will go over to the Rams. Aeneas Williams in on the tackle as well for the Ram defense that was bending, but the Saints could not get them to break in the course of the opening drive of this game.
You know, you look at this situation right here. I mean, what was Jim Haslett going to do? I mean, if he's at the limit of Mike Carney's range, you know, or John Carney's range, you know, I think you got to go for it.
Timeout in a scoreless first quarter. This is the New Orleans.
Mind, the rest will follow. David Tyree, weekdays 2 to 5 on the Big 870 WWL.
DMI, the official travel company of the Saints, have great deals to all Saints games. Follow the Saints to San Diego, Atlanta, Dallas, or Tampa Bay with the official travel company of the Saints, DMI. Call 877-8-SAINTS. That's 877-8-SAINTS.
Mark Bulger brings his Ram offense up to the line of scrimmage for the first time today. 1st and 10 from his own 34. 10:55 to play first quarter of a scoreless game. 3 receivers bunched to the near side, 1 to the far. 1 is Cam Cleveland, who goes in motion as an H-back. The rollout to his right by Bulger. Stops, throws downfield. Wide open at midfield is going to be Isaac Bruce in front of Thomas. He'll take it inside the Saint 45-yard line. Isaac Bruce's 18th catch of the season. He came into this game tied with Marvin Harrison for the NFL lead. Holt and Bruce, the wide receivers. Brandon Manu-Maliuna is the tight end. Orlando Pace, the left tackle. Chris Dishman, the left guard. The center is former Saint Andy McCollum. The right guard is Adam Timmerman. The right tackle, Grant Williams. Mark Bulger, the former 6th-round draft choice of the Saints, drops and looks again. He's going to throw it deep down the near sideline. Bakir Brown has the coverage, and it is incomplete. Bakir Brown was really blanketing Torrey Holt, who was flying down the near sideline. Saints complaining that Holt pushed off trying to get to that ball inside the 5-yard line. The Saints defensively up front have Charles Grant, Jonathan Sullivan, Brian Young, and Darren Howard. The linebackers are James Allen, Courtney Watson, and Derek Rogers. The corners, Ashley Ambrose and Fred Thomas. The strong safety is Jay Bellamy. The free safety to Bucky Jones. So the Rams come out firing downfield, and now look at 2nd and 10 from the Saint 44. Dane Lucker checks into the game, and he is split out to the right in a 3-wide receiver set. Here's Bulger looking to throw again. Can't find anybody to his right. Sets up a screen left. This is Marshall Faulk, and he's going to be hit and dropped for a loss on the play. Back around midfield, read well by Darren Howard, who stayed put. And also Sean Smith in there now, playing some at nose tackle, number 99, with Howard Green inactive today, along with Rodney Leslie.
I mean, you kind of wonder why the Rams have come out, thrown on every down that they've had thus far. And, you know, you would kind of think that the way the Saints have not defended the run, I think is the best way to put that, why they come out throwing the ball every down.
Loss of 4. It's 3rd and 14 from the Saint 48. Marshall Faulk, the lone setback. 2 wideouts to the right, 1 to the left. Manu-Maliuna, the H-back in motion. Bulger rolling to his right, has all the time in the world, throws downfield, and it's complete at the 35-yard line and into the 34, and very close to a first down will be the wide receiver Kevin Curtis. He had the first down, but gave ground hope and that cost him.
Yeah, it was without question, Jim. Whenever he caught the ball, all he had to do was just turn and go upfield, because actually where he caught it, I think he was right about the sticks, but he was trying to make something bigger out of it than it was, and now put the Rams in a fourth down situation, much like the Saints on their first drive. They're going for it on fourth down.
Yeah, just about at the same yard line on the opposite end of the field. Saints went for it at the 34 of the Rams. It's 4th and 1 here from the New Orleans 35. Backs in an eye. Bulger going to hand it off to his tailback, Falk, and Falk has the first down to around the 32-yard line. Timmerman with a good block out in front of him, wiping out Jay Bellamy and allowing Falk to cut back. He didn't get a whole lot, but he got enough to keep the drive alive.
Well, I'll tell you what, actually, what Marshall Falk wanted to do that time, he wanted to bounce it to the outside, and Jay Bellamy did a good job in run support, came up and shut down the outside running lane, and then Marshall Falk knew all he had to do was cut it inside, because all he needed was 1 yard.
Courtney Watson on the stop. 1st and 10 for the Rams at the Saint 32. 8:10 to play first quarter of a scoreless game. Split backfield. Here's Bulger dropping, looking. He's hit as he delivers the football. He's got a receiver at the goal line, and Torrey Holt comes back to catch it for a touchdown. Torrey Holt with his second touchdown reception of this season as the Saints went after Bulger, hit him as he delivered the football. The ball was underthrown, but the Saint defensive backs couldn't react to that. Holt saw it all the way and came back and picked it off at the goal line for the touchdown.
I'll tell you what that was, Jim. That was just a misplay on the part of Fred Thomas. I mean, there's no way that Torrey Holt should have caught that ball, because it was underthrown, and, Fred Thomas was in good position. He just ran past Holt as he kind of judged the ball as it was coming through the air, and it was just a poor play on the part of Fred Thomas. Good coverage. He just mistimed his jump.
32-yard touchdown reception. On comes Jeff Wilkins, who adds the extra point, his 246th straight, and the Rams convert on fourth down as the Saints could not take it into the end zone for the first score of this game. 7:58 to play, quarter number 1. It is the Rams 7 and the Saints nothing. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Play in the U.S. agency's Pigskin Picks at WWL.com by picking the NFL winners. You could win 2 double melt pizzas from Domino's and the grand prize winner of 4 at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse.
The Rams go 66 yards in 6 plays in 2 minutes and 57 seconds. A 32-yard strike from Mark Bulger to Torrey Holt for the touchdown. The Rams converting a 4th and 1 at the Saint 35 to keep the drive alive. A line drive kickoff on 1 hop to the 8-yard line. This is Lewis to the 20, running to the near sideline. 25, cuts it to the 30, stiff arms the tackler, and is dragged down just short of the Saint 35-yard line.
Jim, really and truly, I mean, that was not a very well thrown ball by Mark Bulger. He just kind of hung the ball up, and it became a jump ball. And because Fred Thomas didn't see it, he just kind of ran past everything. If the ball would have been thrown on time toward the back of the end zone, Fred was going to have great coverage, but it ended up being a jump ball, and you know what? He lost out.
Yeah, he did. And you wonder perhaps if Bulger hadn't been hit, he probably would have had more velocity on that ball, and it might have been an opportunity for Thomas to intercept the ball or knock it down deeper in the end zone.
Because when Bulger got hit, it turned out to be a pop fly.
We're going to take a timeout. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network. Saints from the New Orleans 35, 7:50 to play first quarter. Saints trailing 7-0. Ernie Conwell goes in motion. Saints in a 3-wide receiver set. Play action. Brooks with time. Now the pocket breaks down. As he goes down, he throws it in the direction of Stecker, off his hands, incomplete. It looks like he did deliver the football before his knee went down. He was being rushed by the linebacker Brandon Chiller, 4th-round draft choice out of UCLA. The rookie pressed into action with the earlier injury to Robert Thomas. Well, Aaron Brooks had been 2 of 2 for 27 yards before his first misfire of the day. The Rams do not have a turnover defensively. The only team in the NFL without one. They've led the NFL in that category the last 3 years. 2nd and 10 for the Saints from the New Orleans 35. Empty backfield. Brooks in the shotgun for the first time. Throws downfield, and it is going to be caught, I believe, at the 42-yard line on a diving effort by Tallman Gardner. One of the best catches we've seen him come up with, and the Saints have a first down in Ram territory, just short of the St. Louis 41.
Not only was it a heck of a catch on the part of Talman Gardner, but that was a hell of a throw by Aaron Brooks. That was one of the times where he was throwing as he was falling away from the ball, but had enough arm strength to get enough mustard on it to get it to Gardner.
23-yard gain, first and 10 Saints at the Ram 42. Brooks stumbles getting up from under center, and he will be touchdown for the easiest sack of the season for the Rams, as somebody stepped on Brooks's foot as he came out from under center.
I mean, you could pretty well figure, that's probably Charles Bentley when he snaps the ball. I don't know any way that you can avoid that kind of stuff because I've never played that position. But, I mean, as a center, you got to make a step one way or the other depending on the play side. And sometimes you just step a little bit too deep and you get the quarterback's foot.
So the Rams pick up a sack, their fourth of the season, and it brings up 2nd and 13 at the Ram 45 from the shotgun once more. Brooks can't find anybody, and he'll be dropped from behind as he takes off out of the pocket by Leonard Little, crashing in from his left defensive end position.
That's 2 times that Aaron has scrambled out of the pocket, and both times he's been caught from behind. Let's go right down to Kenny Wilkerson real quick.
Okay, you're talking about Bentley, and who knows whose fault that was who stepped on who, whatever, on that last play. But last week they had a lot of problems between them. Jim Haslett told us during the week that one time Bentley snapped the ball into his own leg. And he's struggling at the center position no matter what they want to say.
3rd and 13 from the Ram 45. Again with an empty backfield and in the shotgun. Brooks spits it in there and a completion to Joe Horn, but short of the first down to around the 37-yard line.
Well, here it is, 2 possessions, and again, I think that Hazlett's probably going to go for it on 4th down again right here. I mean, because you're kind of betwixt and between. You don't really want to put your punting team out there. You've had some pretty decent success throwing the football, and he knows that that's out of John Carney's range. So, again, he's going for it on 4th down.
Earlier on 4th and 1 at the Ram 34, they ran it with Gajan Carter, and he was short. Now they look at 4th and 4 from their 36. Would have been a 53-yard field goal attempt. This time they'll go to the shotgun. And Brooks, with the play clock winding down, calls timeout. Aaron Brooks heads to the sideline as the Saints will utilize their first timeout of the first half with 5:30 to play in the first quarter and trailing the Rams 7-0. This is the New Orleans Saints.
Next Sunday at 3 p.m. That's when the Saints take on the Cardinals in Arizona. Turn up the Saints Radio Network.
Former Cardinal defensive coordinator Larry Marmee is now the defensive coordinator here, having replaced Lovie Smith, and he's been talking to this Ram defense during the break that comes back on the field trying to stop the Saints on 4th and 4 at the Ram 36. Saints will go with 3 wide receivers to the left, 2 to the right. That's Horn and Boo Williams. Pathan in motion left to right. Brooks in the shotgun. Falls for the football. Looks. Now he rolls to his left. He's in a lot of trouble and throws it upfield. Coming back for the ball is Aaron Stecker, but catching it out of bounds and short of the first down. There was good pressure from Damian Lewis, who forced Brooks from the pocket and helped pause an errant throw. And so the Saints have twice gone for it on 4th down in Ram territory, been unsuccessful each time. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
From the heart of the Crescent City, this is WWL New Orleans, an Entercom communication station, AM 870, the news, talk, and sports leader.
Saints go for it on 4th and 4 at the Ram 36-yard line and fail to convert. So they have turned the ball over on downs at the Ram 34 and now the 36. 1st and 10 for St. Louis. Backs in an eye. Bulger, play action all the time in the world. Dumps it off over the middle. Reception is made by Falk. Runs out of the tackle by Allen. He is close to midfield and has a first down. Marshall Falk has caught passes now in 149 straight games. That's 2nd among active players and 6th all time. A 13-yard gain. First and 10 for the Rams at the St. Louis 49. They lead it by a score of 7-0 with 4:50 to play in the first quarter. Bulger Bulger has 2 wide receivers to his left, 1 to the right. Backs in an eye, the tailback is Falk. Play action to him. Bulger again with time, throwing downfield. Catch is made by Isaac Cruz. Isaac Cruz dropped from behind by Hokie Jones. And this is just like shooting fish in a barrel at the moment for the Rams. The Saints have no pass rush, and they've got receivers running free in the Saints secondary. That's a 26-yard gain for Isaac Cruz, the 11-year veteran out of what was then Memphis State. And he has now passed Stanley Morgan for 14th on the NFL's all-time receiving yards list.
Yeah, the biggest difference is, Jim, is that the Saints aren't getting any pressure on Mark Bulger. Whenever Aaron Brooks is dropping back to pass, the Rams are just coming with a 4-man rush, and they're getting in his face.
1st and 10 from the Saint 25. Bulger, play action, steps up in the pocket, runs away from Darren Howard, but drops the ball. It's on the carpet, and the Saints trying to cover it and look like they have done so at around the 17-yard line. Ashley Ambrose, he of the 2 interceptions in 2 games, coming up with the loose ball, and this is the penchant that the Rams have in this high-risk, high-reward offense.
I mean, in that particular case right there, I mean, all Bulger was doing was just stepping up in the pocket. I mean, it was a nice pocket was formed for him, and then all of a sudden, I mean, that clock goes off in your head, and hey, I got to do something. He was just careless with the football.
So the Saints collect the turnover as the Rams were driving for a second time. Howard and Grant converging on Bulger, who drops the football and turns it over to the Saints. Ashley Ambrose on the recovery. The football will be spotted at the Saints' 17-yard line.
You know, a lot of times when the quarterback, once he gets back there and that imaginary clock goes off in his mind, sometimes those guys panic. And I think that's exactly what Mark Bulger did right there, because he had plenty of time. He didn't have to scramble because the Saints defensive ends had gotten up the field. Yeah, he was going to start getting a little pressure from behind, but I think he was in too much of a hurry to run. All he needed to do was just step up in the pocket, just like he did on the first play of this series, and just dump it off to a Marshall Faulk or one of his running backs that were right there, just beyond the line of scrimmage. And I tell you what, you put that all on the shoulders of Mark Bulger, because he panicked in that situation.
Yeah, he did. And fortunately for the Saints that he did, because it was their defense that should have been in a panic, the way that the Rams were gashing them in the passing game.
I mean, even if Mark Bulger does nothing but just go ahead and chuck it and run with it, I mean, he's probably going to pick up some positive yardage. He's not going to make a great game, but he was still looking to pass and was just holding the ball a little bit loosely.
Well, let's see what the Saints can do now against this Ram defense. The Saints have moved the ball through the air, but each time it's stalled just on the periphery of John Carney's range as a field goal kicker. The Saints have twice gone for it, once on the ground, once through the air, been successful neither time. And the Rams have been moving it well against the Saints defense until this most recent turnover on the fumble by Mark Bulger. Both of these teams 1-1. Both of these teams playing very spottily in the opening 2 games of this season. The Rams beat Arizona 17-10 in their opener, and then scored just 17 last week at Atlanta, losing 34-17. They will next play at San Francisco. 1st and 10 Saints from the New Orleans 17-yard line. Saints trailing 7-0 with 3:51 to play in the first quarter. Backs off set, Horn in motion, handoff Stecker, hit in the backfield, slips 1 tackle but not a second, and he'll be dropped for a loss on the play. A loss of 4 by Aaron Stecker.
I'll tell you what, Jim, I may have sorely overestimated the Saints offensive line. I thought I called them an above average line in the NFL, but really here through right now in 3 ball games, they've done a very poor job of protecting the quarterback, and they can't open any running holes.
2nd and 14 from the Saints 13. Pathan in motion, Brooks in the shotgun. Victor Riley moves. Once again, this will be blown dead. Damian Lewis comes flying in there anyway, not hearing the whistle, and tried to take Brooks down. But Victor Riley playing at right tackle, and that's a big matchup. Victor Riley against Leonard Little, their best pass rusher.
5-yard penalty.
Cost the Saints 5 more yards.
And let's go right down to Kenny Wilkerson real quick.
And guys, during team drills and practice on Wednesday, there were 4 plays into running Saints offense. At one point, they had the crowd noise on. Victor Riley moved. They run another play. Wayne Gandy moved. Jim Haslett started the drill over again. Like I was telling you before kickoff, this is what it's looked like all week.
66,000 fans now come to life with the Saints backed up to their own 8-yard line, 2nd and 19. Brooks in the shotgun stands at his 1, fits it in there to Stallworth. He breaks one tackle and will be brought down just short of the 30-yard line. Might have the first down. Looks like he does.
He's got the first down. I mean, again, the quick slant. I mean, that's the Saints' bread and butter so far this season. I mean, just whether it's going to Joe Horn or Dante Stallworth. I mean, it just seems like those guys can get inside of the defenders, and right there, I mean, that was a heck of a third down pickup.
21-yard gain as Jeremetrius Butler was beaten on the right corner by Dante Stallworth. 1st and 10 Saints at the New Orleans 29. They trail 7-0. Here's Brooks again in trouble, and it's going to be a flag thrown as Stallworth was hit by Archuleta and the cornerback around the 40-yard line. Stallworth offers a hand to Archuleta to help him up, and the strong safety says, to heck with you.
That's interference. Defense, number 35. Spot foul, automatic first down.
Well, that will go against Aeneas Williams. It was Aeneas Williams on the left corner now, and Archuleta, who had bracketed the wide receiver. Aeneas Williams, the Forte High School 14-year veteran out of Southern, hasn't played on the corner since he broke his leg midway through the 2002 season. They moved him to free safety, but because of wholesale injuries now in that secondary, they've had to put him back on the corner, and he figures to be a target today of the Saints. 1st and 10 from the New Orleans 39, 2:18 to play first quarter. Here's Stecker sweeping left, turning it upfield, and he is met stiffly by the cornerback, Jeremetrius Butler, and limiting him to a short gain up around the 41-yard line. Give him 2 on the carry. Well, Deuce McAllister is on this trip, though Jim Haslett said earlier in the week he wouldn't make the trip.
Well, I mean, that was all a bunch of BS. I mean, we knew that when he said it. I think he was just trying to make an emphasis to the point that Deuce McAllister is not going to play regardless of what he thinks.
2nd and 8 from the Saint 41. Backs are split, 2 wideouts to the near side, Stallworth to the far. Rams showing blitz, here they come. Dumping it off to Stecker. Aaron Stecker inside and beyond his 45-yard line. The ball will be marked just short of the 50 and just short, it would appear, of the first down, depending on the spot of the football. From our vantage point, he looks to be short, and it would bring up 3rd and short if indeed he has not made it. But the referee, who today is Bill Vinovich, calls for a measurement.
Well, Jim, while we got a break, get you caught up on some of the other scores. Right now, Atlanta leads Arizona 3-0. Philadelphia over Detroit 7-0. The Giants lead Cleveland 7-0. All these are first quarter scores. Right now, the Pittsburgh-Miami game is postponed, of course, because of the hurricane. Kansas City over Houston 7-0. Jacksonville, Tennessee tied up at 0 apiece. Baltimore over Cincinnati 3-0. And Chicago leads Minnesota also 3-0. Again, all those first quarter scores.
Well, the Saints have picked it up by the nose of the football. They have the first down at their 49-yard line. Saints have moved the ball between the 20s, but have not had a scoring opportunity. Again, stopped on 4th down twice on their 2 previous drives. 1st and 10 Saints at the New Orleans 49. Aaron Stecker and Kajana Carter sharing the load at running back in the absence of Deuce McAllister, who was walking quite gingerly on the flight and hopeful of being back soon. 1st and 10 for the Saints. New Orleans 49. 2 wideouts to the left. Dante Stallworth split out wide to the right. Backs are split. Here's Brooks dropping, throwing out of the backfield in the left flat. It's Stecker with the catch, and he is pushed out of bounds by the cornerback Jeremetrius Butler at the St. Louis 47-yard line. A pickup of 3.
Tell you what, nice little piece of tough running by Aaron Stecker out there. I mean, caught the ball out there in the flat and just lowered his shoulder and let those defensive backs, hey, let them know that Deuce McAllister's not in this game, but if you come out here and try and tackle me head up, I'm going to try and punish you.
He played at Western Illinois, which is where the Rams hold their training camp. 2nd and 7 from the St. Louis 48. Brooks handing it off to Carter. Running room outside. Turns it upfield. Pushed out of bounds close to the first down. Looks like he has it at the St. Louis 40-yard line.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't know that Kajana Carter still had that little burst of speed left in him. I mean, once he saw that things were opening up on the outside on the bounce play, he just took it out there and he was able to get around the corner.
Carter, who made this team as the third running back in preseason and then was on and off the roster through the first 2 games, seeing his first action of the regular season and contributing a first down in his 1st and 10 Saints at the Ram 40-yard line. Less than 20 seconds to play first quarter. Saints trailing 7-0. 3 wideouts to the near side of the field. Play action. Brooks with a lot of time. Going to fit it in down the middle. And Horn cannot make a diving reception at the 12-yard line. He was wide open, and Brooks just threw the ball badly.
That was not a very good throw. Joe Horn was wide open. It was almost exactly the same pattern that Stallworth caught last week for a touchdown. And Joe was just standing right in the middle of the field, wide open, and Aaron just underthrew it.
Brooks has been throwing the ball well, but this was his worst throw of the day. Horn was wide open.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a ball that should have been caught. I mean, even though that Joe got his hands down on the ground, it still short-hopped him.
2nd and 10 from the St. Louis 40. Horn and Pathan split out wide to the left. Handing it off to Stecker. Stecker running hard, breaking 2 or 3 tackles inside the 35 down to around the 34-yard line. So Aaron Stecker, you can't fault the effort. He's not Deuce McAllister, but he's giving a reasonable facsimile thereof through the first 15 minutes, which have now elapsed. And after the first quarter, the Rams lead the Saints, who are threatening 7-0. This is the new... Aaron Brooks, 5 out of 8 for 79 yards in the first quarter. Only 1 poorly thrown pass. That to Joe Horn when Horn was open in the middle of the field. And now the Saints will move it right to left as we view it, as the second quarter commences, with the Saints looking at 3rd and 4 from the Ram 34. This is where they have bogged down previously. Brooks calls for the football. He's got a receiver, and he overthrows Pathan at the 12-yard line. Pathan had gotten inside Aeneas Williams, had 2 steps on him, and Brooks missed him.
I tell you what, Jim, you can't really say that was a bad pass. I mean, the one to Joe Horn was a bad pass. That one right there, it's just, it's hard to say. It looked like Aaron maybe just threw it a little bit too flat. It had a little bit too much on it. But the unfortunate thing is, if Jerome Pathan catch that ball, he's standing in the end zone right now, and it's a 7-7 ball game.
Once more, the Saints are at the 34-yard line, and this time they will attempt a field goal of 52 yards from the left hash mark by John Carney. Snap is back, kick is up, on its way, has the distance, and it is good.
Wow.
John Carney remains perfect on the season, 4 out of 4, connecting from 52 yards out, and the Saints are on the scoreboard. 14:50 to play, quarter number 2, Rams 7 and the Saints 3. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network. Saints collect the Bulger fumble and go 49 yards in 10 plays in 4 minutes and 1 second. John Carney connecting on a 52-yard field goal. Saints really dominated time of possession in the first quarter. They had the ball for 10 minutes and 31 seconds.
Jim, they were moving the ball well when they were on offense. There were just a couple little things right there at the end. I mean, they had 2 4th and 1 and a 4th and 3. And I agree with Jim Haslett. I think you had to go for them there. But, I mean, they moved the ball quite well. And right there, they had a couple opportunities. The missed opportunity to Joe Horn and then Jerome Pathan. I think either one of those 2 passes could have gone for a score.
The Rams haven't returned a kickoff beyond their 23-yard line so far through 2 games. Harlan Harris back deep. Strong kickoff by Carney down to the 2-yard line. Harris back to the 10, to the 15. He's to the 20. He's across the 25 and up to the 27-yard line. Just a mediocre return for most teams, but that draws a round of applause.
I mean, that's an extra 4 yards for them. I mean, that was kind of a roar in the crowd once he got past the 25.
A return of 26 yards.
But I knew as soon as you said that they hadn't returned one past the 23. I knew it was going to happen.
It's an automatic.
Absolutely. So just don't say those kind of things anymore.
They've been hurting in the return game since they lost Tony Horn and also Oz Hakeem in the punt return game. 1st and 10 for the Rams from the St. Louis 28. They lead it 7-3. Backs offset behind Mark Bulger, who turned the ball over the last time he touched it, and Brian Young jumps up front. This is going to be a free play for the Rams, and it's going to be complete to the 46-yard line to Isaac Bruce. Bruce takes quite a shot from Bucky Jones, but it'll be a first down. It was clearly offsides by the Saints, but no contact was made, and the Saints just relaxed defensively when they saw the flag, but the play went on.
Penalties declined. that's a situation right there where you got to know the rules, right? What Brian Young did, he jumped offside, and then he just quit. And you know what? Really, the rest of the defense did too. The offense knows that they got a free play right there. So you, as a secondary guys, you got to jump on your man, cover him. You just can't go ahead and just drop your hands on the ground and say, well, dead play, because, I mean, the Rams are going to get positive yardage one way or the other, but if you just completely let down, they get the big play like they just did.
26 yards, 1st and 10 from the Ram 44. Play action. Bulger with all the time in the world. He's got Holt wide open and misses him at the 25-yard line. Holt had Bucky Jones and Fred Thomas beaten by 7 yards, and now Jay Bellamy calls for a conference of his secondary mates. It appears that somebody blew a coverage, and the Saints got away with one.
Well, I don't know exactly that, maybe they did blow a coverage. To me, it looks like the safety just didn't get over there, but there are too many times where a guy's running wide open across the middle of the field, and this soft zone that the Saints are playing right now just ain't working. I mean, you got to get up there. I mean, when you're playing the zone, you got to give a guy a certain amount of room, but you just don't give him the whole field to run on.
2nd and 10 from the Ram 44. Bulger drops, has all sorts of time, dumps it off to Falk. Falk makes a move on the linebacker and is able to take it down to the Saint 46-yard line as he got away from Roger Knight with a quick stutter step. Marshall Falk, 31 years old, the 11-year veteran out of San Diego State. Hurt his knee somewhat last week against the Falcons. The ravages of time and injury have hampered him somewhat, not quite the back he used to be. That's a 10-yard pickup to the 46-yard line of the Saints, who have shown precious little in way of pass rush or coverage thus far.
Well, the good thing about it is they don't have to worry about their run defense because the Rams are throwing it every down.
Yep. And the Rams will have to call a timeout with the play clock winding down on Bulger.
Timeout. Taylor.
We'll take it as well, stepping aside with 13:34 to play in the second quarter. Rams up on top of the Saints 7-3. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network. First against the run, and yet the Rams have totally abandoned their running game in the early 15, 18 minutes of this game.
we already played one full quarter, and now there's 13 minutes, 34 seconds in the second quarter. The Rams have carried the ball one time with Marshall Falk. Every other play has been a pass.
For 3 yards. 1st and 10 for the Rams from the Saint 46. Backs in an eye. 2 wideouts to the left. Bulger hands it off. This will be a running attempt by Jackson, and the first-round draft choice is upended by Jonathan Sullivan, along with help from Charles Grant. Jonathan Sullivan, Charles Grant, Will Smith, along with Sean Smith, the front four currently for the Saints. It'll be a pickup of 3 by Steven Jackson, the first-round draft choice out of Oregon State, who left after his junior year. 2nd and 7 for the Rams from the Saint 43. Marshall Falk now the running back. 2 wideouts to the left and 1 to the right. Bulger, play action. Has time. Sets it up on the right side to Manu Maliuna, and the big tight end with a flag down will be dropped by Bucky Jones at the 32-yard line with help from Derek Rogers, but the flag rests at the 39-yard line, and the Saints are pointing in the Rams' direction.
Had to be some kind of illegal block because, as the ball was thrown out, it was just a tight end screen, and as those linemen came out there.
Offense number 77. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Would have been an 11-yard gain. Would have been the first catch by a Ram tight end this season. Neither Manu Maliuna nor our old friend Cam Cleland have a catch. The penalty's on Grant Williams, 9th-year man out of Louisiana Tech, playing at right tackle, Kyle Turley's old position, and he has not been impressive.
I'll be honest with you, I just saw the replay. I don't know how they can call that holding. I'm sorry.
2nd and 13 from the Saint 49. Bulger with his backs in an eye. 2 wideouts to the left, 1 to the right. Bulger to throw. Pocket breaking down, avoids the sack, steps up, delivers. The pass is thrown low to his fullback. Good speed, goes down and gets it, picks it back up, and runs with it close to the first down to the 35-yard line. Joey Goodspeed, who went to training camp with the Saints in 2001, a safety valve receiver, made an excellent catch and then was able to get back on his feet and battled for every yard he could possibly get. There is a Ram offensive lineman shaken up back at the 42-yard line, flat on his back and requiring attention.
Well, here's the case right there where the Saints put some pressure on Bulger and, I mean, forced him into throwing the ball out to his safety valve, but there was nobody out there to tackle the man.
16-yard gain. Marshall Faulk checking on the injured Ram. Still haven't been able to get his number. Now it looks like Chris Dishman, the left guard. They have new players at left guard in Chris Dishman and at right tackle in Grant Williams, neither of whom has played very well. And it's Dishman now who is shaken up, the 375-pounder, eighth-year man out of Nebraska. Now they've got him sitting up and have helped him to his feet and will help him to the sideline. They measure for the first down meanwhile.
And the Rams do pick it up.
So Joey Goodspeed, the third-year man out of Notre Dame. Remember him in the Saints camp in 2001, Hope?
Oh, absolutely. For whatever reason, I mean, it seems like whenever we go somewhere on the road and play somebody, you know, you talk about this Saints player. And I'm not saying that these guys are great players for the Rams, anything like that, but the Saints kind of just seem to be a farm system for the rest of the league.
Of course, the Saints have a few former Rams on their team as well. Brian Young, who earlier jumped off sides, and also Ernie Conwell, who has not been thrown to today. First and 10 for the Rams at the Saint 36, 12:05 to play second quarter, 7-3 Rams on top. Here's Faulk trying to spin away from Derek Rogers, who brings him down with one hand on his back and limits him to about a yard, maybe two, just inside the 35-yard line of the Saints.
Jim, all those other games in progress right now, and these are all second quarter scores, just like the Saints game right now. Atlanta over Arizona 3-0. Philadelphia leads Detroit 14-0. The Giants over Cleveland 7-0. Kansas City leads Houston 7-0. Tennessee 3, Jacksonville 0. Baltimore over Cincinnati 10-0. And the Minnesota Vikings lead the Bears 7-6. And again, those are all second quarter scores.
Second and 9 from the Saint 35. Bruce in motion left to right. Bulger drops. Saints can't pick him up. And it's through the hands of Faulk and then through the hands of Hokie Jones, who had a possible interception at the 11-yard line on the tip. Marshall Faulk upset with himself. You won't see him drop many of those in the open field.
And it was a heck of a throw on the part of Mark Bulger. And then when Marshall Faulk did just let that ball deflect off his hand, Hokie Jones was right there for the easy interception. But I think it's one thing that we all know. Hokie does not have good hands.
Nope, he does not. Scott Tercero replacing Chris Dishman at left guard. And it'll bring up 3rd and 9 at the Saint 35. Two wideouts to the right, two to the left, one back. Here's Bulger as the Saints blitz. He throws it over the middle, and the catch cannot be made. Bakir Brown separating Dane Looker from the football at the 19-yard line. Well thrown ball by Mark Bulger under pressure. But Looker kind of got caught looking around as he saw the Saints converging on him and dropped a catchable ball.
I mean, good anticipation you can see right there that Looker has definitely got his eyes on Bakir Brown. He knows he's in the middle of the field, and if somebody's coming, he just doesn't know from where. Bakir Brown was right there to separate him from the ball.
So this will force a Jeff Wilkins field goal attempt of some 53 yards. Left hash mark. Snap is back. Kick is up. On its way. And it has just enough leg in it to get through. A 53-yard Jeff Wilkins field goal. And the Rams add to their lead. With 11:08 to play, quarter number 2, it's the Rams 10 and the Saints 3. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network. Jones Dome, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
From the heart of the Crescent City, this is WWL New Orleans, an Entercom communication station, AM 870, the news, talk, and sports leader.
Rams go 37 yards in 10 plays in 3 minutes and 42 seconds. Jeff Wilkins connecting from 53 yards out as the Rams take a 10-3 lead. Of course, these Rams are seeking their 16th straight consecutive regular season home victory here in the Jones Dome. Wilkins to kick it away. Strong kickoff. Drives Lewis 5 yards deep in the end zone, and he will kneel there, and the Saints will take the touchback back to their 20.
You just don't see that much anymore.
Jeff Wilkins,
that deep.
11-year veteran out of Youngstown State, has really been a very consistent kicker down through the years, and their punter, whom we have not seen yet, is Sean Landetta, who's been in the league since they started wearing face masks, I think. He's the only other USFL vet in this league, along with Doug Flutie. 20 years out of Towson State and still punting very well. Well, the Saints have been moving it up and down the field, but can't get into the red zone. They have but 3 points to show for their efforts. 1st and 10 from the New Orleans 20-yard line. Ace formation. Stecker in motion. Nobody behind Brooks. Half rollout to his right. Throwing on the run. Catch is made by Joe Horn. Up around the 27-yard line of the Saints. Pickup of about 7. This is one thing that Aaron, I think, has really gotten better at, and that's throwing on the run, throwing out of the pocket.
As long as he's moving to his right. There are certain times whenever he rolls out to the left, sometimes by design, sometimes by need. But I don't think he throws it worth a hoot whenever he's moving to his left. But I agree with you on that. When he's moving to his right, he has gotten better at that.
Horn checks out. Tallman Gardner checks in. 2nd and 3 from the New Orleans 27-yard line. Carney in motion. Handoff to Kajana Carter. Kajana Carter will be close to the first down and appears to have it as he crosses his 30-yard line.
You know, here you're talking about two teams that are really suffering on run defense, and both offensive teams are throwing the football. And, you know, I particularly don't have a problem with that because both teams are moving the ball up and down the field. I just thought that you would see both offenses trying to establish the run a little bit more than they've done thus far.
And neither have. Robert Thomas checking back in now after being injured earlier. The middle linebacker on the stop. A 3-yard gain and a first down for the Saints and Kajana Carter. 1st and 10 New Orleans at the Saint 30. Just over 10 minutes to play. Second quarter. 10-3 our score. Rams on top. Here's a handoff to Carter, and he is met by the middle linebacker Thomas. Surging forward to around the 33-yard line. Helped up by Lamont Hall, and the Saints will bring a number of receivers back into the game. You know, boy, the Saints tight ends have been quiet, haven't they, through nearly 2.5 games?
Yeah, we don't even think that Boo Williams had a catch last weekend. You know, Ernie Conwell, you know, he's come up, you know, he had a touchdown reception a couple of weeks ago, but, you know, the tight ends are just kind of a non-factor anymore.
2nd and 8 from the 32 of New Orleans. Pitch out, near side, Stecker. Sprung out on the play and dropped after a short gain by Bryce Fisher, the right defensive end, 4th-year man out of the Air Force Academy. That's just a 1-yard gain.
Kind of an option that the Saints ran right there, and Fisher does a heck of a job of not being fooled by the inside fake to Mike Carney.
Edward Jones Dome coming to life as the Saints go to the shotgun. Brooks falls for the football. Steps up in the pocket. Delivers over the middle, and the catch is made by Horn down to around the 42-yard line. Brought down by Lassiter and Archuleta. A Saint first down into Rams territory. A 24-yard reception.
Hey, I tell you what, Aaron's kind of picking up where he left off last week. I mean, you know, with a 127 quarterback rating that he had last week, he was voted the NFC Offensive Player of the Week, all that kind of stuff. I mean, he's having a heck of a ball game up to this point. Actually, both quarterbacks are. I mean, they're kind of having their way with the opposing team's secondary.
They've both been sharp. 1st and 10 Saints at the Ram 43. Play action. Brooks with time. Looking to his left, rolling to his right, running to the sideline, stopping, now throwing the ball downfield and out of bounds. Great catch by Dante Stallworth as Brooks was really throwing that ball away. Couldn't make it on the field of play, but a heck of a catch anyway. Brooks was just trying to throw that football away and throw it back toward the line of scrimmage. He is now 7 out of 12 on the day for 110 yards. The Saints have not turned the ball over. They have been sacked twice. 2nd and 10 New Orleans at the Ram 43. Stallworth split out wide to the right. Brooks and Pathan wide left. Split backfield. The tailback is Stecker. Stecker gets the call. He's got running room inside the 35, 30, 25, 20. He's going to go. Aaron Stecker, touchdown Saints. A 43-yard ramble for Aaron Stecker.
Well, I tell you what set that whole thing up, that was just a drawing, because we just mentioned it a minute ago that the Saints and the Rams both are throwing the ball on every down. That time right there, it just caught the Rams off guard because they watched the Saints offensive line drop back like it was a pass. The Saints come with a draw play up the middle. Now the Saints have an opportunity to tie this ball game up.
Officially, it will be a 42-yard run by Aaron Stecker, who gets into the end zone for the first time as a New Orleans Saint. And with this extra point by John Carney, the Saints will have moved into a tie. Snap, placement, and kick. And Carney, who is perfect in both field goals and extra points thus far this season, gives us a new ball game with 7:46 to play in quarter number 2. It is the Saints 10 and the Rams 10. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
It's the New Orleans Saints tradition. Turn down the sound on your TV and turn up the Saints Radio Network next Sunday at 3 o'clock. That's when the Saints take on the Cardinals in Arizona. Turn up the Saints Radio Network.
And the Saints have scored a touchdown. That means every Monday after the Saints game, you can get the buy one, get one free blitz from Domino's Pizza. Buy any large pizza at regular menu price and get the second pizza of equal or lesser value absolutely free, only at Domino's.
Would that be pizza after touchdown?
It could be pizza. Yes,
right.
It could.
Aaron Stecker, a 42-yard ramble for the score as the Saints go 80 yards in 7 plays in 3 minutes and 22 seconds and tie this thing up at 10. Stecker's 5'10" and 213. Not great size, but built low to the ground with very powerful legs and breaks a lot of tackles.
And I think he's got very good balance too, Jim.
So John Carney to kick it away. This will be fielded, I believe this is Looker in there now at the 2, back to the 10, 15, and up to the 20, the 21-yard line on the return. And that will be Mike Furry, a wide receiver, on the return of that kickoff, 18 yards.
A flag came in, and it was kind of a little scurry down there on the ground. I'm not sure whether Looker, if the ball popped out the last minute, was hard to tell, but definitely a flag came in.
I believe that was Mike Furry, another wide receiver getting an opportunity to return.
Receiving team, number 41. 10-yard penalty. St. Louis keeps the ball. First down.
Justin Lucas, a backup safety, caught holding. And the Rams will change their kick returners on almost every return of a kickoff. Steven Jackson has done that as well. We haven't seen him in that role today, though we have seen Arlen Harris and Mike Furry getting an opportunity to do so.
You know, we're kind of watching that run by Aaron Stecker. He really wasn't touched on that draw play, and that's the easiest 42-yard run he'll ever have.
1st and 10 for the Rams from their 10-yard line. Good speed in motion into the backfield. Handoff Falk, sweeping left, hit in the backfield, breaks a tackle, jitterbugging around and fights his way back to the line of scrimmage and gets some positive yardage. Darren Howard upset with himself because he had an opportunity to bring him down in the backfield and couldn't do so. Be a pickup of 3. Total skirmish taking place again.
Looks like that was between Marshall and Will Smith. I guess he thought that Will gave him a little extra shot down there on the ground. And, you know, I mean, I didn't particularly see that. I mean, he's got him right there by the nape of the neck. And Marshall just said, hey, I don't appreciate that, and threw an elbow at him. And after that, they just kind of started pushing and shoving one another.
Giving him the business down on the bottom of the pile. 2nd and 7 from the 13-yard line. Bulger play action. Has time. Delivers the football, and it is going to be caught on a comeback route just short of the 30-yard line by Isaac Bruce in front of Ashley Ambrose. Ambrose had him well covered, but the ball was perfectly thrown by Bulger in a 15-yard gain.
You know, it's not really a whole lot you can say about that. I mean, you know, Mark Bulger.
Men. Defense. Penalties decline. Play result and a first down.
Penalty on the Saints is declined. They'll accept the play and the first down that comes with it.
Well, all I'm saying right here, I mean, you can't really ask Ashley to do a whole lot more than this. I mean, he's in good position. Bulger throws the ball completely on time, puts it right out there. Isaac Bruce makes the catch, and you know what? You know, hey, you got to just tip your cap to those guys.
Not the first time he's done that. 1st and 10 at the 28-yard line of the Rams. Just over 6:20 to play, second quarter. Inside handoff, Steven Jackson breaks wide open, and he's up to the 41-yard line to Bucky Jones with perhaps a touchdown-saving tackle, or at least limiting him to a medium-sized gain instead of a whopper, and it'll be a first down up at the 42-yard line of the Rams. A gain of 14 for Steven Jackson, who came into this game with 10 carries for 60 yards.
Well, the thing that caught the Saints off guard was Steven Jackson was kind of lined up like as a slot guy right there, and they figured they're going into a pass route, and they just run the underneath trap, just like you would from a fullback situation if he was offset.
First and 10 Rams from the Ram 42. Backs in an eye. Play action. Bulger with all sorts of time, throws short to Falk, and the Saints have this well diagnosed, and he's brought down immediately by Derek Rogers. Rogers dropping him back inside the Ram 40-yard line for a loss of 4.
I know the Saints linebackers and their play has been criticized a lot here over the last couple of years, and justifiably so, because I mean they're not. I guess the people in New Orleans are too accustomed to the dome patrol and all that. But Derek Rogers this season has made a lot of plays in 2.5 ball games,
and it's reflected in the fact that he's been named the team captain defensively. 2nd and 12 from the 40-yard line of the Rams. McDonald in motion right to left. Bulger handing it off on the delay, and this is Marshall Falk making the first man miss and taking it up to around the 46-yard line before Tony Bryant brings him down, and a flag has been thrown holding the indication against the Rams.
Well, Marshall Falk might not have that great flat-out speed anymore. Where
holding offense number 81, 10-yard penalty. Second down.
That was Torrey Holt caught holding.
But the point is that Marshall may not be able to outrun people to the end zone anymore, but he's still got that great side-to-side lateral movement.
Still got those quick feet after 11 years in the league out of San Diego State. Hasn't started all 16 games in a season since 1999 because of knee problems primarily. But still an excellent receiver and the kind of guy that seldom is brought down by the first tackler. 2nd and 17 from the Ram 35. Backs are split. Bruce in motion right to left. Bulger drops, steps up in the pocket, throws, and it is going to be caught on a pass that's thrown low, but on one hop, and now ruled incomplete on the pass to Torrey Holt up at the 46-yard line. He brought it in, but the officials right on the spot said he did so after one hop off the carpet here in St. Louis. I think this is the only other stadium along with Indianapolis in the league that still has the old AstroTurf field.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I was saying in the pregame that, it's a very fast surface. And I mean, if you're comfortable on it and everything else, believe me, guys that can run, they enjoy playing on this type of surface. But at some point in time, it's going to come up and bite you because you're going to get that freak injury.
3rd and 17 from the Ram 35. Bulger's had a lot of time to throw out of the shotgun. This time he's going to be hit by Grant and brought down on the sack back at the 28-yard line. Charles Grant barreling in there for his 2nd sack of the season and a loss of 7.
I tell you what, looked exactly like the play last week against the 49ers when he hit Ken Dorsey. He got around the tackle, and after that point, he just used that speed to get to the quarterback. And I'm going to tell you what, Mark Bulger never really even saw him coming, and Charles Grant just gets there with that great closing burst, wraps him up, and pounds him into the ground.
He whipped Grant Williams. Again, we mentioned Grant Williams playing for Kyle Turley, out for the season at right tackle, or probably out for the season. And the Rams will have to punt it away for the first time. Sean Landetta hangs it high. Michael Lewis comes up, returns it from his 36 to the 40, 45, brought down at the Saint 47-yard line. Michael Lewis was somewhat of a daring return there. You almost expected him to call for the fair catch, but instead he brings it back 11 yards, and the Saints have excellent field position for the first time today to start a drive, and time with which to work. 3:38 left in the 2nd quarter, and 2 timeouts at their disposal.
I tell you what, it was a pretty gutsy return by Michael Lewis because Landetta hung that thing up high. The punter did all he could do. You tell him, look, pooch it up there in the air, hang it high. That way you force Michael Lewis into the fair catch. Michael didn't do it. He looked downfield and said, hey, I've got enough room to catch it and make something happen. And he puts the Saints in great field position.
They'll start from their own 48, 1st and 10. 3:38 to play before halftime. 10-10 football game. Backs offset, wideouts left and right. Horn in motion, play action Brooks. He has a lot of time. Now he's pressured by Little running to his right. He throws underneath to Aaron Stecker on the dump off, and Stecker a short gain into Ram territory around the 48-yard line, a pickup of 4.
And that's really what your responsibility is when you're back. If you're not coming out on an option route, or if you're not the hot read or something like that, you give the quarterback that last line of defense that, all right, when he's scrambling, just somebody to pick the ball up, throw it to him. Now the Saints are faced, with a 2nd and 6 as opposed to 2nd and 10.
From the Ram 48, empty backfield, 5 receivers. Stallworth gets the pitch on the end around. Dante Stallworth inside the 45 to the 44-yard line. Dante Stallworth with his 2nd carry of the season. He carried once for a yard in the first game of the season. That's a 4-yard pickup.
Well, that wasn't anything special. I mean, Dante just kind of had blinders on right there. He got the pitch from Aaron Brooks as he came around in motion, just took the pitch kind of like an option play. And he probably should have bounced that thing to the outside. With a guy like Dante that's got that much speed, you want to get out on the perimeter as much as you can. He just kind of put the blinders on and went right up through the heart of the traffic.
Rams bench calling for the noise here as the Saints look at 3rd and 2 from the St. Louis 44. Brooks in the shotgun. Movement. Delay. No, Brooks will keep it. Run to the sideline. Has the first down, but there were all sorts of flags being thrown at the inception of this play, and it looked like the Rams jumped off sides. Whether they were induced remains to be seen.
That's the whole thing. I mean, it all happened so fast, and I mean, it was obvious that the Rams came across, but you don't.
Offside. Defense number 94. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Right defensive end Bryce Fisher jumping off sides, and the Saints will take the penalty and the first down that comes with it. Well, the momentum in this thing has kind of shifted after the Saints went down 10-3, and then the big 42-yard touchdown run by Aaron Stecker brought the Saints defense to life, and now they're threatening once more here in the waning minutes of the second quarter. The Saints will choose not to run another play as the clock is wound down to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes left in this entertaining first half here in St. Louis. It's the Saints 10 and the Rams 10. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
No Hibernia National Bank challenges this app, brought to you by Hibernia National Bank, the official bank of the New Orleans Saints. Right now, you can open a Hibernia personal or business checking account and get a deluxe cooler seat free. Make Hibernia your official bank and trust all your financial needs with the one you know. Hibernia, where service matters.
Jim Haslett has never lost to the Rams here in St. Louis as the Saints head coach in 2 visits. 3-2 against the Rams overall. 1st and 10 Saints at the Ram 39. Pathan in motion. Brooks in the shotgun. Calls for the football. Sets up the screen to the left, and it is incomplete, intended for Aaron Stecker. And Bryce Fisher dropping off from his right defensive end position. Gets a hand on the ball, and time for our weekly criticism of the screen game.
Let me just go ahead and make it simple. I think the world of Mike McCarthy. I think he's a good offensive coordinator and everything else. Mike, get that play the hell out of your book. Just ditch it right now because it don't work.
Nope. Never has.
I mean, it's not his fault. I'm not saying that, but it's his fault to keep calling it.
2nd and 10 from the Ram 39. Brooks out of the shotgun with 4 wide receivers. Hands it off on the delay to Stecker. Stecker breaks 1 tackle, ridden down around the 35-yard line by Bryce Fisher, the right defensive end, a 4-yard gain.
I mean, I know it's only 1/2 of one ball game, but you kind of got to look at Aaron Stecker and appreciate what he's doing. I mean, he's running hard. He's running with effort. I mean, when somebody makes first contact with him, he's going to gain another couple of yards, something like that. And that's kind of why I said I like him better than any of the backup backs that the Saints have had in the last couple of years.
Saints trying to move into makeable field goal position at the least here. Looking at 3rd and 6 from the Ram 35. Pathan in motion. Brooks in the shotgun. 3 wideouts to the right, 1 to the left. Brooks throws down the middle of the field. Incomplete. Intended for Pathan at the 26-yard line. He threw that one into some traffic and threw it high in the direction of Pathan, who doesn't have a catch here in the first half. Well, the Saints will bring on John Carney, who connected from 52 yards earlier in the second quarter, his longest of the season. This is going to be a 53-yard attempt. With Todd Bauman to hold. Snap, placement, kick by Carney. Has the leg, and it has the direction. John Carney hits from 53 after earlier hitting from 52, and John Carney has been perfect on the season. 5 out of 5 now in field goal attempts, and perfect in the extra point department. 5 out of 5.
You know, and both of those look like they cleared the crossbar by the same distance. I mean, you know, we know that you're going, okay, it's got just enough leg to get there. You couldn't tell whether it was going to be on track, right or left, something like that, sitting up here in the press box. Both of them go over the crossbar, like Tony Fritz used to say. Well, if it goes higher over the crossbar, do they give you more points for that? No. Nope. All that matters is if you get it over the crossbar.
You know, you don't want to second-guess Jim Haslett because he is a dynamic and an aggressive play caller. But, you know, they passed up 2 field goals right in that range earlier to go for it on 4th down because usually John Carney is good to about 52, and that's it. They passed them both up, went for it on 4th down, made neither. Subsequently, they've allowed John Carney to kick from that distance, and he's connected from 52 and 53.
I guess it's one of those things where Has just said, you know, I don't feel comfortable right now making him have to go out there and try and attempt one of these long field goals, go for it on 4th down. Made it neither time, and he said, well, the heck with that. I'll tell you what, we'll just go ahead. If we're going to turn the ball over, then we might as well turn it over on a missed field goal.
Here's Carney to kick it away. This is Harris getting a chance this time from his 7 to return it. 15 up to the 20. 25 breaks it outside 30. Carney with a flag down is going to be run over trying to make a tackle, at least standing around the pile as the return man is brought down short of the 50, but there's a flag down way back at the 29-yard line, and this will come back.
That will be holding against the Rams, but hey, you got to give Mike Carney credit. Going in, I mean, you got to throw your hat in the ring at some point in time and get your uniform dirty. He hadn't handled the kickoff duties.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team, number 41. 10-yard penalty. St. Louis keeps the ball. First down.
That's Justin Lucas again. He had been penalized earlier in the game. Would have been a 40-yard return, and by far the best kickoff return of this season for the Rams, as we pointed out. They have a deficiency in that area.
As I was pointing out, though, I mean, you know, for time that John Carney has been here, Toby Goen has handled the kickoff duties, Mitch Berger's handled it, all that kind of stuff. John's getting an opportunity to do it right now, and when somebody breaks free, hey, you're the last safety valve. You got to get up there and throw your hat in the ring.
And that time he was kind of standing around the pile thinking about making the tackle when one of the Rams just buried him. 1st and 10 for St. Louis from the Ram 13, 54 seconds remaining in the first half. Rams with a couple of timeouts remaining. Here's Bulger dropping, looking. Saints bearing in on him, and the ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage and incomplete. Charles Grant with another big pass rush off that left defensive end position. And Will Smith just comes downfield and kicks the ball through the end zone.
Well, Jim, all those other games in progress right now. Atlanta leads Arizona 6-0 in the second quarter. Philadelphia all over Detroit 21-0. That's also in the second. And the Giants lead Cleveland 10-0 also in the second quarter. That Pittsburgh-Miami game is delayed until tonight. Kansas City over Houston 7-3. Tennessee over Jacksonville 6-0. Baltimore leads Cincinnati 17-0.
2nd and 10 Rams from their 18. Bulger in the shotgun. Saints creeping up to the line of scrimmage. They hand it off to Falk on an inside handoff. Falk breaks one tackle, but Bucky Jones rides him down with some help at the 27-yard line. Jason Kraft as well in on the stop. Clock shows less than 30 seconds to play here. 3rd and 1 for the Rams from their 27. Flag down. Looks like the Rams moved before the snap of the ball. And listen to the Boo Birds here in the first half in St. Louis.
Well, I mean, I think that's kind of poor clock management on the part of Mike Martz. I know that he's the one that's telling Mark Bulger everything that he needs to do out there on the field, and I think that's what the fans are booing.
Ball start. Offense number 76. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down. There's no 10-second runoff, and St. Louis has elected to take their second charge timeout.
Perennial Pro Bowler Orlando Pace at left tackle with the false start. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
From the heart of the Crescent City, this is WWL New Orleans, an Entercom communication station, AM 870, the news, talk, and sports leader.
You conventional wisdom says you put your best pass rusher at right defensive end, but Charles Grant is the Saints' best pass rusher. He's at left defensive end. So is Leonard Little for the Rams. And a lot of people are thinking now that's where your best pass rusher should come, because you're working against a right tackle who is not your best pass blocker. And if you do get penetration, you're right in the face of a right-handed quarterback. So if you get any kind of pressure, he feels it.
Absolutely, and he can see it coming. I mean, and that's what makes him more nervous than anything. The Saints used that wisdom in the last couple of years by having Darren Howard as their right defensive end, because he was their best pass rusher. But as you said, I think Charles Grant has become that guy now.
3rd and 6 from the Ram 22. Crowd grows quiet as Bulger throws. The slant is caught at the 32-yard line to Bucky Jones and Jason Kraft on the tackle of Sean McDonald. The Rams had one timeout remaining and have used it with 18 seconds remaining before halftime.
Well, Jim, one final score of the games that are in progress right now. Minnesota leads Chicago 10-6. That's in the second quarter. All these games are nearing the halftime right now, so we got you caught up on all the scores. But all the boo birds you heard just a minute ago, I mean, Mike Marsh is one of those kind of guys, you either love him or you hate him. And a lot of the media around here and people, even myself, I mean, I've watched some things that he's done during the course of a game, throw out the red flag out there. Let's try and challenge this player or something like that. He does some kind of boneheaded things, but then he's creative enough that it makes you cheer for him from time to time.
He's a very innovative coach, sometimes too much so when it appears he has people outmanned. He tends to want to outthink you as well. 1st and 10 from the 32-yard line of the Rams. Saints dropping off in coverage, rushing just 3. Bulger going to throw near sideline, incomplete, with 12 seconds remaining. Intended for Isaac Bruce. Ashley Ambrose on the coverage. The Saints that time were content to drop off in coverage, and as I mentioned, rush just 3 on Mark Bulger, who has been sacked by Darren Howard and also sacked by Charles Grant in this game.
Well, Mike Marsh must figure there's too many people like me in the league out there that are head coaches if he's going to outthink them. I mean, that's pretty easy to do with me, but you get somebody that knows what they're doing. I mean, you're going to have to start playing that chess game a little bit more.
And he and Jim Haslett have had some great ones down through the years. This promises to be another. 2nd and 10 from the Ram 32. Saints rush 3. Bulger going to have to dump it off again. This is Marshall Faulk running away from Rogers, who drags him down from behind, short of midfield, but a first down for the Rams. They cannot stop the clock again, and the first half concludes. Fans in St. Louis a bit unhappy with the clock management by their offense and their head coach. The Rams had opened up a 10-3 lead on the Saints, but the Saints fought back late in the second quarter on an Aaron Stecker touchdown run of 42 yards that brought this team to life, and a John Carney 53-yard field goal to put them ahead. And at intermission, after 30 minutes of football in the Edward Jones Dome here in St. Louis, Missouri, the Saints lead the Rams by a score of 13-10. The Jones Dome in St. Louis, Missouri, Jim Henderson along with Hokie Gajan and Kenny Wilkerson. Saints on top after 30 minutes, 13-10. Aaron Stecker in the first half, 8 carries for 63 yards, an average of 7.9, and their 42-yard touchdown run that tied the game at 10. The Saints later went ahead 13-10, our score at halftime.
I tell you, Jim, the thing that's got me a little bit puzzled is that the Rams have only carried the ball, they've only rushed the ball 7 times for 36 yards. That's a 5.1-yard average against the team that's ranked 31st in the league in rush defense. I mean, I think you got to get Marshall Faulk more involved in this ball game. I mean, for whatever reason, Mike Marsh is content to go out there and try and throw it every down.
Last week, every team in the NFL who collected more turnovers and had less penalties than their opponent won the game. In the first half, there's been 1 turnover, Bulger fumbling the ball away to the Saints. The Rams were penalized 7 times in the first half, the Saints but once.
And that's why every coach after every ball game tells you we got to eliminate mistakes and turnovers.
Here's the second half kickoff. Arlen Harris comes to the near sideline and fields it at his 6 to the 10, 15, 20. Slips the tackle at the 23, moves up the sideline, will be dragged out of bounds short of the 30-yard line by Mel Mitchell, along with Colby Bachwald and Tallman Gardner.
And let's go down to Kenny Wilkerson with an Abita Springs Water Saints sideline report.
And guys, it looks like they got a little more bounce to their step as they came out of the locker room. I'm told that Jim Haslett he really didn't say much to him other than, let's just keep doing what we're doing. I think they kind of found a few things there, especially in that second quarter, that worked for him offensively and defensively. Can't say enough about the way Charles Grant played, and you can definitely tell that he's pumped up as he came out. But the word is that as it was pretty soft with him, it just basically said, just keep doing what you're doing. We can get out of here with a W.
1st and 10 Rams from their 29. Mark Bulger up under center. Bruce in motion left to right. Bruce and Holt big first halves, as you might expect. This time they will run it on first down, with Marshall Faulk carrying to around the 33-yard line before the Saints gang tackle him. Courtney Watson, one of those tacklers, along with Jonathan Sullivan. The Saints front four consists of Grant, Sean Smith, Jonathan Sullivan, and Darren Howard. Sean Smith, here's a guy they picked off waivers, and he's seen a lot of action.
Yeah, he was the guy yesterday when we got on the plane. I said, Jim, who is that? And you really didn't know.
2nd and 5 from the 34 of the Rams. Backs are split. Wideouts left and right. Bruce in motion. Bulger dropping. And he is going to be completing the pass at the 40-yard line to Bruce. And Isaac Bruce hits the turf at the 45-yard line of St. Louis for a first down. Bulger, under a strong pass rush once more from Charles Grant, completes an 11-yard strike, but he's taken some shots, and he gets up flexing his jaw like maybe he got a roundhouse right to it from Charles Grant. Charles Grant's really been coming off that left side with the pass rush, and he nailed Bulger from behind, and then he was sandwiched on the pass rush from the right side by Darren Howard. 1st and 10 for the Rams at the St. Louis 45, just underway third quarter. Movement by the Rams up front. And this will be, I believe, on the Rams and their 8th penalty of this game, another false start. They've got some problems along this offensive line at left guard and at right tackle. And Orlando Pace at left tackle, a perennial Pro Bowler, is not off to a good start after missing all of training camp, as he often does, because he's the franchise player and doesn't deem himself necessary of training camp. 1st and 15 from the 40-yard line of St. Louis. They reset and put their backs in an I. Goodspeed, the fullback. Faulk, the tailback. Play action. Bootleg Bulger throwing to his tight end, and he's brought down at the 43-yard line. Ashley Ambrose coming up to trip up Brandon Manu-Maliuna after a 3-yard gain.
And let's go right down to Kenny Wilkerson with an Abita Springs Water Saint sideline report.
Guys, was it the tight end Manu-Maliuna that was called for the false start?
No, it was not. I think it was Orlando Pace.
Okay, well, he kind of rocked after the play while the referee was making his call and all that. Charles Grant gave him the signal right in his face, kind of like he was barking at the band members a couple weeks ago. I mean, literally got right in the guy's face, giving him the call.
2nd and 12 from the 43 of the Rams. Bruce in motion. Bulger drops. Can't find anybody to his left. Throws it up the far sideline. Incomplete. Broken up by Ashley Ambrose nicely as he swats the ball away from Dane Looker. Well, the Saints with some good coverage, and then Bulger had to look over the entire secondary before he could find somebody that was open momentarily. Dane Looker. But Ashley Ambrose having a good day.
Well, Ashley has been around the football. I mean, I've been critical of his ability to cover the deep ball anymore, but right here, when you put him in that short area, I mean, he read exactly what the receiver was doing. He knew that he was going to come on that comeback route. Ashley puts his right hand in there at the last second, bats the ball away. I mean, that's textbook stuff.
3rd and 12 from the Ram 43. This crowd is very silent at the moment. Saints may have jumped. Could be a free play here for Bulger. He throws the ball into the left flat to Marshall Faulk. Faulk will be short of the first down as he brought down in Saints territory around the 47-yard line, but looked like Will Smith jumped. That'll be a 10-yard gain. They needed 12.
Well, the thing that makes you scratch your head about that, Will Smith jumped, and then he dropped in the cover.
Defense number 91. 5-yard penalty. Beat 3rd down.
It was Will Smith who jumped and then dropped off.
And ends up making the tackle. I mean, give him credit for hustling and all that kind of stuff. But, I mean, if you were going to drop into coverage, if all you were going to do is take one step up the field to make the offense think that you were rushing and then drop into coverage, you shouldn't be the guy to jump off sides.
So after the penalty, it'll bring up 3rd and 7 at the Ram 48. Hooker and Holt split out wide to the right. Bruce wide left. Now they reset and bring Hooker to the near side of the field. One back behind Bulger. That's Falk. Saints crowd the line of scrimmage, have a twist on up front. Bulger under pressure, down he goes. Courtney Watson gets him back at the 38-yard line for the third sack of the day for the Saints.
I tell you what, it was a primetime blitz right there. The Saints came. Courtney Watson was unblocked coming out of the middle, and I mean, he read exactly what the offensive line was doing. He had a free run to Bulger, and that's the thing that you got with Bulger. You got pretty well a stationary quarterback in the pocket, and if you can just go as a defensive lineman or a linebacker when you're coming on the blitz, if you can just go ahead and zero in on that guy, chances are you can get him.
He beat Andy McCollum, the former Saints center, loss of 8. Here's Landetta's punt. High, short. Lewis comes up, fields it at his 26, and he'll be brought down immediately as he attempted to get back up on his feet. Adam Archuleta, the starting safety, down on kick coverage, limiting Lewis to a 1-yard return. Timeout. 11:21 to play. Quarter number 3. Saints on top of the Rams by a score of 13-10. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Why must all good things come to an end? Because
It's a New Orleans Saints tradition. Turn down that sound on your TV. Turn up the sound on the Saints Radio Network next Sunday at 3 p.m. That's when the Saints take on the Cardinals in Arizona. Turn up the Saints Radio Network.
Aaron Brooks, 10 out of 17 for 126 yards. In the first half, brings his team up to the line of scrimmage. 1st and 10 from the Saint 27. Here's Brooks, under pressure. Throws it in the direction of Gajan Carter as he goes down, incomplete. He was hit by Leonard Little.
There's no intentional grounding. The ball is thrown at the feet of number 32, an eligible receiver. Second down.
Now, it seems like every time they leave Victor Riley out there alone with Leonard Little, they pay for it. He just beat him with an inside move very cleanly there and was in on Brooks before Aaron could do anything. They talked about giving Riley some help against Little, and he appears to need it. On 2nd and 10, met at the line of scrimmage is Aaron Stecker, and gang tackled and thrown backward by the Rams. So the Rams with 2 impressive plays defensively on the first 2 plays for that defense here in the second half. Tommy Polley, the linebacker, making the first contact. Bring up 3rd and 10, no gain on the play. Might have been Gajan Carter. I might correct myself on that last carry. 3rd and 10 from the 27-yard line of New Orleans. Stecker in there now as the running back. Saints are in the shotgun. Brooks motions for Jerome Pathan to reset and go in motion to the right side where they have 3 wide receivers. Here's Brooks throwing on the run. Catch is made on the near sideline by Jerome Pathan. What a good grab there right in front of the Ram bench. I think he's got the first down.
Hey, I'm going to tell you what, Leonard Little, again, was putting a lot of pressure on Aaron Brooks. But the problem was the Saints were, because of their protection scheme, they had Aaron Stecker on Leonard Little. And that's a mismatch I'll take any time. And, I mean, Aaron Stecker, I mean, he did the best he could. Just try and chop the guy's feet out from underneath him. But then Aaron Brooks steps up to the plate and throws a perfect strike over to Jerome Pathan, and you got to give Jerome credit right there, knowing where the sticks were, and to pick up that first down.
An 11-yard gain. He makes the catch in front of Aeneas Williams. 1st and 10 at the Saint 38. Brooks rolling to his right, throwing on the run. Leaping grab is made on the near sideline by Dante Stallworth. Another nice grab. That will be up to around the 46-yard line of the Saints. I'll tell you what, you know, the Saints had some problems in preseason with drops, but in the last 2 games, their wide receivers have really been sticky fingers.
Yes, they have, and I'll tell you something else. I mean, I think you got to give a lot of credit to Aaron Brooks. I mean, he's remaining very poised in the pocket. He's coming out there. I mean, he's throwing a lot of very catchable balls to these guys. I mean, and if you can't make those catches, then you have no business playing on Sunday.
9-yard gain, 2nd and 1 from the 47 of the Saints. 2 wideouts to the near side of the field. Handoff, Stecker, big hole. Ram territory. 40, 35, 33-yard line. Aaron Stecker with a straight-ahead burst once more, reminiscent of the 42-yard touchdown that he scored in the second quarter. That one's good for 20.
Well, I mean, I think you got yourself a very capable backup here. I mean, I would not replace Deuce McAllister with anybody that I know of right now, but Aaron Stecker is doing one hell of a job as his replacement.
Holding on to the football, running hard, never letting first contact bring him down. Saints have reached the 34-yard line of the Rams. 1st and 10, 9 minutes to play, third quarter. Saints up 13-10, playing their best football of the season thus far. Here's Gajan Carter sweeping left. He'll be brought down by 3 Ram tacklers around the line of scrimmage. No apparent gain on the play. Nine carries for 83 yards for Aaron Stecker, including that 42-yard touchdown run that tied the score at 10 in the second quarter. 2nd and 11, a loss of a yard on the carry by Carter at the Ram 35. Stallworth wide left, Pathan and Horn wide right. Carney in motion in the backfield. Backs are split. Play action. Brooks throws underneath to his big fullback, and Mike Carney brought down short of the 30-yard line by the free safety Rich Cody. A gain of 4 as Carney has his second reception of the season.
Yeah, probably, you know, I mean, I know a lot of people say that they miss Terrell Smith's ability to block and everything else, but the one thing that Mike Carney does give you, he gives you somewhat of a threat out of the backfield. I mean, when he catches the ball, you feel pretty certain that when it's thrown his direction, he's going to catch it.
Fans trying to exhort this defense as they come to life. 3rd and 6 for the Saints at the Ram 30. Conwell in motion. Brooks, play action, steps up in the pocket, wants to run, will run, slides down at the 25-yard line, close to the first down.
I don't believe he's going to have it, Jim. I mean, it depends on where the spot goes. The officials look like they're putting it right on the 25-yard line. The sticks are about probably 6 or 8 inches beyond that, and that was one of those things where I don't know that Aaron really knew exactly where he was.
Might be calling for a measurement here, and this will give Jim Haslett time to think things over, but it appears that the Saints are going to go for it here. Remember, they went for it at the 34 and the 35 in the first half and failed to make it on 4th down.
And let's go right down to Kenny Wilkerson with an Abita Springs Water Saints sideline report.
Yeah, it'll be about 6 inches short, and I think they're just measuring it to make sure they know exactly what they have to do or you know, determine what kind of play they want to call, but they'll be short on it. Maybe even more, maybe even almost a whole foot there. So they're staying out there. There's no doubt that they're going for this one.
Looks to be at least a foot that the Saints will try to come up with here. They go for the field goal. It's a 42-yard field goal. And remember, John Carney has been extremely accurate and unerring, in fact, thus far this season. But the Saints apparently will go for it on 4th and 1 from the 25. Ends in tight with the exception of Tallman Gardner. And it's a sneak by Brooks, and he's got it easily. Aaron Brooks behind his right guard, Montre Holland, diving forward and picking up the first down. Appeared that he had it easily. The Rams are motioning in the other direction, but from our vantage point, it looked like he got it with room to spare, and he does. They won't even measure.
And let's go right down to Kenny Wilkerson real quick.
Yeah, and real quick, I wanted to get back up to the booth for the play. The defense that, you know, had picked it up when they came out here in the second half, a lot more bounce to the step. Once they got that 3rd and long and the completion of Jerome Pathan, you can see it in the offense, and you can see the bounce in their step as they're coming on and off the field. Even Aaron Stecker, when he took himself out after that long run, they definitely have picked it up offensively and are picking up on some of the good things they did in the first half.
1st and 10 Saints at the Ram 24, 6:15 to play third quarter. Saints up 13-10. Brooks, bootleg to his left, has a lot of room to run. He's going to throw it instead, and it's incomplete. At the 11-yard line, the ball was thrown a bit behind Jerome Pathan, and that time he was rolling to his left and wasn't as accurate as he has been rolling to his right.
Well, there was a lot of things wrong with that particular play. He was rolling to his left. He had to throw across his body, pull his right arm back, and then he threw the ball back toward the middle of the field. So, I mean, all things being equal, Aaron would have been a hell of a lot better if he would have just tucked it and ran right there. I mean, he was going to pick up probably 4 or 5 yards. That's a dangerous throw to make in the middle of the field when you're throwing across your body.
Rich Cody on the hit. 2nd and 10 at the 24-yard line of the Rams. Balanced ace formation. Stecker the lone setback. He's had a big day. He gets the call here. Stecker puts his head down, fights for every inch he can get, but has a short gain to around the 21-yard line of the Rams. Not much there this time. Give him 2 on the carry.
I mean, this has been a real good time-consuming drive for the Saints. You know, the Rams came out, forced the Saints defense, forced them into a punt, and they've taken the ball right now. When they've had to pick up the critical 3rd down, and in one particular case, a critical 4th down, they've been able to move it with both the pass and the run.
3rd and 8 from the Ram 22. Brooks in the shotgun. 3 wide receivers to the near side of the field. One of them is Michael Lewis. Brooks calls for the ball, has time, throws, ball is tipped up in the air and incomplete. Aaron Stecker was just going to swat that ball away to keep it from being intercepted as the linebacker Tino Isamoa was in the vicinity. So John Carney will come on to attempt a field goal. He is hit from 52 and hit from 53 in this game.
You know what? I mean, when you look at what Aaron Stecker does right here, some people might say, oh, that's kind of a half-hearted attempt at trying to catch that ball. That's a smart thing to do. Bat that thing down, because if he catches it, he basically gets no gain out of the play, and he's eliminating the interception by the Rams defense.
40-yard field goal attempt, left hash mark, snap, placement, kick on its way, and it is good once more. John Carney from 40 yards out, and the Saints add to their lead. With 5:16 to play in the 3rd quarter, it's the Saints 16 and the Rams 10. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
And let's go right down to Kenny Wilkerson with the Abita Springs Water Saints sideline report. Kenny?
And Hokie, you were talking earlier about the mismatch with Leonard Little against Aaron Stecker. So Little's been giving Riley all he could handle. Well, on that one play, Stecker had to deal with him, and what he did was, in order to save Aaron Brooks' life practically, he had to cut him. He went, he had to go low. He had to go at those knees. Well, after that 3rd down play just now, Leonard Little went after him. Now, they didn't start swinging at each other, but Leonard Little definitely went after Aaron Stecker and had a few things to say to him about cutting him like that. This thing could start getting like old Rams Saints games in the future here.
Here's Carney's kickoff, fielded by Harris, a yard deep. Back to his 5-10, 15. Slips one tackle at the 16, and he's up to the 23 before he's brought down by Roger Knight. Timeout on the field, 5:09 to play. Quarter number 3, Saints 16 and the Rams 10. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
DMI, the official travel company of the Saints, have great deals to all Saints games. Follow the Saints to San Diego, Atlanta, Dallas, or Tampa Bay with the official travel company of the Saints, DMI. Call 877-8-SAINTS, 877-8-SAINTS.
Mark Bulger has not lost a regular season game in the Jones Dome. He and his offense trail the Saints at the moment 16-10. Got off to a hot start today, as he did last week against the Falcons. He hit his first 9 passes, and he was off to a similar start today, as the Rams virtually never went to their ground game in the first quarter. 1st and 10 from the 24-yard line of St. Louis. Backs in an eye. Bulger on the delay, gives it to Falk. He bounces it outside, but right into the waiting arms of Derek Rogers, who throws him backward after a short gain, maybe a yard to the 25.
Jim, those other games in progress right now. Atlanta leads Arizona 6-0. Philadelphia continues to pound on Detroit 24-7. The Giants over Cleveland 10-0. Again, that Miami-Pittsburgh game will be delayed until tonight. Kansas City over Houston 14-6. Jacksonville 7. Tennessee 6. Baltimore 17. Cincinnati 6. And the Minnesota Vikings lead the Chicago Bears 17-6. All those 3rd quarter scores.
2nd and 9 from the Ram 25. Bulger drops, steps up in the pocket, delivers, catch is made by Holt. Up at the 38-yard line or so will be a first down. A 12-yard gain for Torrey Holt. In the first half, he had 1 catch, and it was a 32-yard touchdown. But you can see the Saints enjoying themselves more, playing with more confidence. They seem to have the emotional edge at the moment. Whether it'll last, we don't know. There's a long way to go, but they have played their best football of this young season.
Oh, no question, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I thought offensively what they did last week is comparable to this week's game, but defensively they're showing me much more.
1st and 10 Rams at their 38. Inside handoff, Falk bounces it outside. Charles Grant hits him momentarily, and Brian Young comes in to finish him off at the 40-yard line. Gain of a couple.
Well, that probably more than anything else sums up what they're doing defensively. offensively right now in the running game. At least they're getting a bunch of white jerseys to the football, so that way when Marshall Faulk slips out on one tackle, there's somebody else there to pick up the slack.
Charles Grant's done a terrific job today in both the pass rush and in the ground game.
You know, you talk about Charles Grant. I mean, what about Derek Rogers?
Yep.
You know, think about the job that he's done today. I mean, the guy's made a ton of plays.
2nd and 8 from the Ram 40-yard line. Bruce and Holt to the near side of the field. Looker to the far. Backs are split. Bulger drops, steps up, delivers, and it is caught by Looker at the 42-yard line of the Saints. The catch made with Ashley Ambrose draped all over him. A first down on the strike to Dane Looker, the 4th-year man out of Washington, 18 yards.
Well, all you can say right there, I mean, you know, Ashley's doing a pretty good job right here. I mean, he knows where the receiver's going. He's in good position. He sticks that left hand out there. But give Mark Bulger some credit, putting that ball in that thimble where he had to.
Perfectly thrown ball by Bulger, and a completion to the 42-yard line of the Saints, where it's 1st and 10, 2:28 to play third quarter. Saints up 16-10. Bulger with his backs in an eye, stumbles as he retreats in the pocket, has all the time in the world, can't find anybody, rolls to his right, throws it downfield, catch is made by Bruce, and apparently inbounds at the 27-yard line. Ashley Ambrose was on the coverage.
I think he's going to go down for an easy sack. He keeps himself alive and ends up getting a completion out of it.
1st and 10 at the 27-yard line of the Saints as the Rams threaten. 1:55 to play third quarter. Bulger with the ball on his hip, rolls to his right, got a wide open receiver. Catch is made by Looker. He cannot stay in bounds at the 9-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal. He had beaten Derek Rogers on the route. Could have taken it into the end zone, but his momentum carried him out of bounds at the 9. 1st and goal Rams.
Well, what they did right there made the play action fake inside to Marshall Faulk, and of course everybody bid on that. And when Derek Rogers did that, that was all he needed to give Looker just enough of that cushion to go ahead and get out there and become so wide open. I mean, Derek did a good job of kind of getting back into the play, but the fact that he bid on the play fake so hard, and it's easy to do when you got Marshall Faulk in the backfield.
18-yard gain, 1st and goal from the 9, and it looks like Orlando Pace jumped. Another penalty, another false start on the Rams. And Orlando Pace.
False start. Offense number 76. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Is just not supposed to do that as your franchise player. In fact, you get franchise players working against franchise players, as Darren Howard is across from him as the right defensive end at the moment. They've been penalized 9 times for 70 yards today. The Saints twice for but 10. 1st and goal now from the 14. Cam Cleland is in there as a defensive end on the right side. One wide receiver, that's Bruce. Bootleg right by Bulger, being chased by Grant, stops. Grant has him back at the 22-yard line. Boy, you cannot give Charles Grant too much credit for the way he's playing today. He's out there by himself with a quarterback who figures to be a whole lot niftier than he, and yet he was able to bring him down by the ankle.
I mean, this is a guy that has really played well for the Saints in all 3 of their ball games. I mean, he's had some sacks and got a lot of pressures, and, you know, I mean, he talks a little smack during the course of the week, and obviously some out there during the course of the game, but you know what? The guy shows up and makes plays.
They had it 1st and goal at the 9. It will now be 2nd and goal from the 22. Steven Jackson checks in as the lone setback. 2 wide receivers to the left and 1 to the right. Bulger drops, steps up, feels some pressure, and he's going to be sacked once more. And the ball comes free, but after he's down at the 23-yard line, the pressure coming from Will Smith along with Charles Grant, and there looked to be some holding as well on the Rams, but we'll see. The Rams are pointing in the direction of the Saints, and the penalty will probably go against the Saints as the penalty marker is all the way down at the 5-yard line, and maybe that's why Bulger couldn't find anybody.
Contact. Defense number 22. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Well, that hurts. That That's Freddie Thomas.
That's a killer right there. I mean, you know, when a team gets the ball down inside the red zone, they have a illegal motion penalty, then you sack the quarterback, and then you sack him again, and you have something and that illegal contact, and we're getting an opportunity to see it right here. I mean, we were too busy watching Bulger to see what he was doing in the pocket, but I don't know. I mean, you know, right there, you know, I guess by letter of the law, then Fred Thomas is guilty.
He and Looker were riding each other downfield, and that was the call that was made so often in preseason. I think that might be the first time we've seen it against the Saints in 3 games.
Well, we hadn't seen it near as much in the regular season as we did the preseason.
First down now at the 17-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Rams at the 17. They earlier had it 1st and goal at the 9. Bulger looking to throw. Lots of time. Going to throw into the end zone, and it will be incomplete. Ashley Ambrose, terrific coverage on Marshall Faulk. He had position on Faulk, just slowed down and let Faulk run right up his backside, trip and fall down at the goal line.
Well, I mean, I know Marshall is making a complaint to the officials over there, but if there was going to be any call right there, it should have been offensive pass interference, because Ashley has every bit as much right to the football as the receiver does.
We have reached the end of the 3rd quarter. Chasing ends of the field for the final 15 minutes of regulation. The Saints on top of the Rams 16-10. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Broadcast presented by the authority of the National Football League is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this broadcast without the express written consent of the New Orleans Saints and the National Football League is strictly prohibited.
Next week, we'll be heading to Tempe, Arizona in the Big Sombrero to watch the Saints take on the Arizona Cardinals, with the temperatures probably about 100 degrees and people melting in the stands.
Well, as long as they cook a good prime rib out there, I'm ready to go.
I think they probably can. 2nd and 10 at the 17-yard line of the Saints. Rams move it left to right on the first play of the 4th quarter. Bulger drops, sets up the screen. Faulk has running room near side. And he's going to be hit from behind by Ambrose and also Derek Rogers inside the 15 at about the 13-yard line to Bucky Jones in on the stop as well.
Marshall Faulk probably does that as good as any back that I have ever seen play the game. That when he goes out there, when he's in the flat or if he's running the screen or something like that, being able to see the entire field while the ball is coming to him. And, you know, I mean, that was a play right there that he should have got tackled for about a 2-yard gain. And, you know, he gets out there and he slips around and makes something out of it.
A positive 4-yard gain and a timeout on the field. 14:42 to play, 4th quarter. Saints up on the Rams 16-10. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
And let's go right down to Kenny Wilkerson with an Abita Springs Water Saints Sideline report. Kenny, what you got on Courtney Watson?
Well, we'll see how long before he can get back in there. He stayed down after the play. Trainers went out and got him. It's simply a matter of cramps because they're working on his calves right now. In particular, looks like I guess he got the Charlie horse in his left cramp. Remember, he cramped up a little bit in the first game of the year, but as you just told me in the break, folks, that was early in the 3rd quarter. Here we are at the beginning of the 4th, and he's cramping up a little bit. So, you know, I guess they'll get a banana in him and get him back out there.
3rd and 6 from the 13-yard line. Bulger drops, steps up in the pocket, throws short underneath, wide open at the 5-yard line. This is Bruce. He'll fight his way down to the 3, and it'll be 1st and goal. Isaac Bruce, never known for his ability to run through traffic after a catch, did fight there pretty hard down to the 3-yard line, and it is 1st and goal. The Rams had it earlier in this drive, 1st and goal at the 9 before penalties set them back. And then a 5-yard illegal contact penalty by Fred Thomas gave them new life after the drive had stalled. 1st and goal from the 3. Rams with a touchdown and an extra point would take the lead. Empty backfield on 1st down for Bulger. Faulk now goes in motion, takes an inside handoff, and he will score. Marshall Faulk moving from a wing-back position into the backfield, taking an inside handoff, breaking a tackle, and falling into the end zone with the score.
Well, roughly what you had there, Jim, you know, you had the Rams marching the ball down the field, really just basically throwing it every down. And when you got down there close, they offset Marshall Faulk and ran a little trap up the middle. And, you know, even if you look at the Saints defense right there, their defensive end, the linemen were kind of heading up the field, anticipating pass, and the Rams just caught them in a bad defense.
2nd rushing touchdown of the season for Marshall Faulk. The 6th that the Saints have given up in less than 3 games. Extra point attempt by Wilkins is good. And a timeout on the field with 13:34 remaining in regulation. Rams on top of the Saints 17-16. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Donating $3 per rushing yard to Deuce McAllister's Catch-22 Foundation for underprivileged kids. And Aaron Stecker's adding to that today.
He's had a big day, has Aaron Stecker. Included in his production, a touchdown romp of 42 yards that at the time gave the Saints a 10-10 tie. They eventually went ahead 16-10 in the third quarter before the Rams have retaken the lead after a 76-yard, 11-play, 6-minute and 42-second drive, topped off on a 3-yard Marshall Faulk touchdown run. 13:34 to play in regulation. The Rams up by 1. Here's Wilkins' kickoff. It's another strong one. Lewis, 5 yards deep, is going to come out with it to the 5, to the 10, and he will not get beyond the 16-yard line as he is brought down by Kevin Garrett.
Well, you know, it'd be an easy thing to sit there and say that Michael Lewis should have downed that, but as bad as the Rams have been on their kickoff coverage, I mean, you kind of figure Michael felt like, hey, I'd take a chance.
Let's take a timeout. 13:29 to play fourth quarter, 17-16 Rams. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Catch today's hot news, then give your views. David Tyree, weekdays 2 to 5 on the Big 870 WWL.
Right after the locker room show, listen to the Point After with Buddy D live from Deanie Seafood. A taste of Bucktown in the corner of Dauphine and Iberville.
Leading after the third quarter has been a good omen for Jim Haslett's teams. They are 30-4 when they lead after 3 quarters of play. 3-26 when they trail after 3 quarters. They led after 3 quarters today, 16-10, though they have now seen the Rams go on a 76-yard march to take a 1-point 17-16 lead. Fans back into it now after being quiet through much of the second and third quarters. 1st and 10 Saints from their 15. Rams showing blitz. Brooks drops, looks, it's picked up. Brooks with a lot of time, throws near sideline, and it is incomplete, intended for Dante Stallworth up at the 35-yard line.
Well, let's go right down to Kenny Wilkerson real quick. What you got, Kenny?
No doubt that the building has come back to life. You were talking about it after the kickoff that Michael Lewis has been pretty good so far this year and went ahead and tried to take a chance. Well, when he came over to the sidelines, Al Everest and Jim Haslett had a couple words for him, and I'm sure they were telling him, don't take that chance.
2nd and 10 from the 15 of the Saints. Stallworth, Horn, Pathan, near side of the field. Brooks in the shotgun, calls for the ball, throws. It's caught by Boo Williams, right side, takes it up the sideline, and will step out of bounds just beyond the 22, close to the 23-yard line. First catch of the day for a Saints tight end, and for Boo Williams, just his 4th of the season, an 8-yard grab. It'll bring up 3rd and 2 at the Saint 23. Stallworth and Horn near side of the field, Pathan to the far. Brooks in the shotgun, puts Pathan in motion, right to left, stamps his foot, calls for the football. Rams are blitzing. Brooks throws, incomplete to Joe Horn. He had more time than he thought he had. He threw it too hard, too high, too far behind Horn, who couldn't make a one-handed catch. Well, he needed a couple of yards. That ball should have been thrown with more touch on it. Would have been a first down.
And I think we're getting our first look at Mitch Berger today. There's been a lot of questions about that pulled groin muscle, and fortunately, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's the first time the Saints have had to punt today.
I believe you're right. Sean McDonald stands back at his 34-yard line.
There we go. That'll give him the first down.
There's a flag down as Berger goes down. McDonald runs to the near sideline and is tripped up around the 37-yard line.
This will be running into the kicker, so that will give the Saints the 5 yards that they need for the first down.
They only needed 2. A penalty that hurt the Saints last week will hurt the Rams here, it would appear.
Running into the kicker. Receiving team. 5-yard penalty. End result, first down.
And there's a Saints shaken up. I think it's Tallman Gardner in front of the Ram bench. You hear the Ram fans reacting to what they're seeing on the Jumbotron on the replay of running into Mitch Berger. They're looking at the right lower leg of Tallman Gardner, who's in pain at midfield.
Well, he got shoved way off the field, and boy, he really came down on that right ankle awkwardly as he came in from the Rams bench. They kind of shoved him over there as he was trying to get back on the field. He really came down awkwardly on that right leg.
Well, it is a pretty ticky-tack call with the Rams running into the right outstretched leg of Mitch Berger, who Mitch has punted almost everywhere. This is another place that he has punted. He was a Ram back in 2000. So while Tallman Gardner is helped from the field, we'll take the timeout. 12:42 to play. It's the Rams 17 and the Saints 16. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
And let's go right down to Kenny Wilkerson with an Abita Springs Water State sideline report.
All right, guys, it's hard to tell what's the matter with Tallman Gardner. They got him to the bench. He's reaching out to his lower leg, but they're not even looking at him. They're taking him inside for x-rays.
First and 10 Saints from their 28. Handoff Stecker sweeping right. Nothing much there. Gets to about the 30. Gain of a yard or two.
And let's go right back down to Kenny Wilkerson.
Yeah, again, whether or not they just already know or he could feel the pain, whether there's some kind of fracture in there or something like that, I don't know. But they immediately didn't even take his shoes, unstrap him or anything like that, cut the tape off, put him on the cart and bringing him into the locker room. Also, when they showed the replay to the crowd on the punt and running into the kicker, and then, Mitch Berger definitely did some acting on the play, and it was a good, they got the call. But when they showed the replay, Mitch Berger turned to the crowd and took a bow.
Second and 9 from the 29. Stecker in motion. Nobody behind Brooks, who drops, throws over the middle to Stecker. Aaron Stecker brought down by the middle linebacker Thomas, short of the 35-yard line. It'll bring up third down.
That's a play that the Saints have in their offense that I don't think they use near enough, especially when you got a guy like Deuce McAllister. Put the running back in motion, let him go in there and let him run an option route off the linebacker. Option route means, depending on how the linebacker's playing you, you have the option to cut it inside, cut it outside.
Third and about 4. From his 34, Brooks from the shotgun, steps up, has running room to his right, pump fakes and takes off with the ball, slides down after picking up the first down, crossing his 40-yard line. So Aaron Brooks continues to make some very judicious decisions. He has not turned the ball over today, hasn't thrown into a crowd, has run when he's needed to, and has picked up a first down. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
From the heart of the Crescent City, this is WWL New Orleans, an Entercom communication station, AM 870, the news, talk, and sports leader.
First and 10 Saints at their 41. Kajana Carter confused as he splits out of the backfield, split out wide right. Here's Brooks throwing complete to Horn, Ram territory, 45-yard line. The safety, Adam Archuleta, bringing him down.
And let's take it right back down to Kenny Wilkerson.
Ankle on Tallman Gardner. They're saying that as he came over, he told the trainers he felt something pop inside his ankle. But again, they didn't even take anything off and take a look at him, brought him right in, bringing him in for x-rays now. And Joe Horn is hobbling off the field right now. He has had problems with this knee, and that left knee that he hurt last week during this past week in practice. I don't know if that's the problem, but he definitely just came limping off and looked pretty gimpy.
Favoring that left leg. First and 10 Saints at the Ram 45. Brooks calls for the football out of the shotgun. Throws on the slant. Incomplete. Aeneas Williams breaks it up, and he dove inside Dante Stallworth to slap it away at the Ram 40-yard line. So the Saints fighting a bit of a battle of attrition at wide receiver, but Joe Horn coming back on the field, limping as he does so. He's not a tougher guy on this team or in this league than Joe Horn, and he is clearly gimpy, but he's going to play through the pain. The Saints losing Tallman Gardner for the rest of the day. Michael Lewis had come on the field momentarily, but he's trotted to the sideline now as Horn is split out wide to the right with Pathan inside him and Stallworth wide left on second and 10 at the Ram 45. Carney in motion. Play action for Brooks. Down the middle. He's got Pathan. 15, 10. First and goal, Saints from about the 6-yard line.
There goes Aaron Brooks again. I mean, when you see him, when he takes that snap and he makes that little step out of the shotgun and he immediately knows where he's going, I'm telling you, there ain't a guy in the league that throws a prettier pass than Aaron when he knows exactly where he's going.
That's exactly what he did do. Play action to Stecker, throwing it down the seam, and Pathan had gotten behind the linebacker, Pisa Tino Isamoa, for the catch at the 7-yard line. First and goal, Saints from the 7. Just over 9:10 to play in the fourth quarter. Saints trailing by a point. Ace formation. Stecker the setback. Rams are blitzing, and they hit Stecker immediately as he's given the football for a loss on the play.
Well, you know, it's one of those things, Jim, that neither team has really tried to establish the run in this ball game. And then the Saints get down there, I mean, they got a first and goal from the 6-yard line. They come out with 2 tight ends, a running formation, 1 back. And, you know, the Rams just load up and say, heck, I figured they're coming at us with a run. And they stop the Saints for a 3-yard loss.
The line of scrimmage is the 9-yard line of the Rams. Second and goal. 3 wide receivers to the right side of the field. Boo Williams split out wide to the left. Stecker behind Brooks. Brooks drops, pumps left, looks right, throws in the back of the end zone, and it may have been caught by Horn on a deflection. Oh, baby, what a grab!
Man, I'll tell you what, that's one of the finest catches you will ever see. That ball got deflected, and somehow or another, Joe Horn, on his gimpy left leg, reached out his left arm and caught the ball with one hand. I mean, we didn't know until the officials made the ruling down there, but that was one heck of a catch and a heck of an adjustment on the part of Joe Horn.
The tip drill for the offense. What a great grab by Horn as the Saints retake the lead.
I know the officials were kind of huddling up back there in the back of the end zone, but apparently they came to agreement that, hey, it was a touchdown. And with that touchdown, that means that every Monday after the Saints game, you get the buy one, get one free blitz from Domino's Pizza. Buy any large pizza at regular menu price and get the second pizza of equal or lesser value absolutely free.
With the Saints leading by 5, they will go for 2 for the first time this season. Only went for it twice all last season, went for it 11 times the year before.
Well, I mean, you kind of got to figure that Hazlitt is saying to himself, you know what, we hadn't really stopped the Rams today. They've been able to move the ball down the field on us, so we need to at least get that touchdown cushion against them.
No one has attempted a 2-point conversion against the Rams. Horn in motion right to left. Brooks drops, looks, can't find anybody, rolls right, continues to run, staying alive, throws the football, and it's going to be intercepted and then dropped by Archuleta in the end zone. No difference either way. Boo Williams was the intended receiver, so the 2-point try fails, and the Saints will cling to this 5-point lead, 22-17, with 8:23 to play in regulation. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
DMR, the official travel company of the Saints, have great deals to all Saints road games. Follow the Saints to San Diego, Atlanta, Dallas, or Tampa Bay with the official travel company of the Saints, DMI. Call 877-8-SAINTS, 877-8-SAINTS.
The Saints go 85 yards and 11 plays in 5 minutes and 11 seconds. A 9-yard pass from Brooks to Horn and a tip ball for the touchdown. The try for 2 fails. Looks to be Mike Furry back there now, awaiting the kickoff by Carney. He will field it at his 1. Straight ahead, 5-10. He's to the 15 to the 20, takes it outside, runs to the sideline, taken down by Jason Kraft there in front of the Ram bench, short of the 25-yard line, a 23-yard return.
Tell you what, John Carney ate his Wheaties this morning.
He
a couple of long field goals that he's made. He's done an excellent job kicking the ball off in this game. Everything that he has kicked has been down around the goal line. He actually kicked one that went a yard deep in the goal line. So, I mean, John Carney has had one whale of a day.
Aeneas Williams it was who tipped that ball at the back of the end zone. Looked to be an interception waiting to happen. Instead, he tipped it behind him, and Horn reached back with one hand and took it in for the touchdown. And really, an incredibly reactive catch.
And Aeneas Williams didn't even know that the touchdown had been made. He was complaining because he thought he should have had the interception.
1st and 10 at the 24. Bulger dropping. Lots of time. Throwing over the middle, and it is tipped and incomplete. Jay Bellamy had his hands on the ball as Isaac Bruce was the intended receiver up at the Ram 43-yard line. Ashley Ambrose on the coverage.
Yeah, speaking of should have had an interception.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, gosh almighty, I mean, how many times here in the last couple of years have we seen the Saints defensive back just, any of them, safeties, corners, everything just drop what should be a sure interception.
He had one in his hands momentarily. 2nd and 10 at the Ram 24. Bruce split out wide to the left. Joined now by Dane Looker. 2 receivers split out to the right. Empty backfield behind Bulger. Bulger dropping. Saints with some pressure. And he's going to be hit and dropped by Charles Grant once more. Charles Grant got him again back at the 16-yard line for the Saints today. Their 5th sack and Grant's 3rd.
You know, and Charles Grant, you know, not only is he having a heck of a day on defense, you know, he went over there when Joe Horn came limping off the field after he made that spectacular touchdown catch. The first guy to go over there and greet him was Charles Grant. I mean, he's a team player. He's a good player and all that, but you know, I mean, he's the kind of guy that when Joe Horn came off, hey man, I appreciate what you're doing out there on the field. Know you banged up, know you hurt, but you know, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have that touchdown.
Loss of 8, big play here. 3rd and 18 for the Rams from their 16-yard line. See if the Saints turn loose their pass rush. No, they'll send just 4. Bulger rolling right, stops, delivers over the middle, and it's caught on a diving grab at the 32-yard line for well short of the first down by Dane Looker. And the Rams will have to punt it away. Looker didn't quite run far enough to make that reception. He's going to be short of the first down after a 16-yard catch.
Well, if Looker does get deep enough, that ball's going to be a one-hopper to him. It's going to be incomplete.
So Sean Landetta comes on to punt it away. 7 minutes remaining, the clock running. The Saints leading by 5, 22-17. Landetta, the 20-year veteran out of Towson State, having a really good year. This is a wobbly end-over-ender. The Saints are going to try to get away from this one. Lewis fields it on a hop, breaks a tackle, and will be taken down at the 32-yard line. A risky play by Michael Lewis, but he pulls it off and picks up about 4 yards. Give him 5 on the return. 6:38 to play. Saints leading the Rams 22-17. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network. Aaron Stecker, 12 carries for 84 yards today. Brooks 18 of 31 for 224 yards. Bulger 23 of 33 for 295, but he has been sacked 5 times and has authored the only turnover of this game. A big fumble early in the second quarter that changed the momentum at the time markedly. 1st and 10 Saints at the New Orleans 31. Handoff Stecker. Stecker breaking a couple of tackles and getting beyond the 35-yard line. Good gain on first down for Aaron Stecker. You can hardly have asked for more than this guy has delivered today in the stead of Deuce McAllister. That's a 4-yard gain.
Some of those other games in progress right now, Jim. Atlanta still leads Arizona 6-0 in the 4th quarter. Philadelphia pounding on Detroit 30-7. And the Giants right now lead Cleveland 17-3. All those are 4th quarter scores.
2nd and 6 at the Saint 35. Backs off set. One wide receiver, Horn. Pump fake, Brooks. Throws it for Horn, and he drops the ball at the 35-yard line. Ball was thrown between Aeneas Williams and Adam Archuleta. A catchable ball for Joe Horn, and one of the few that he has dropped this season.
And to get you updated on the rest of those scores, Jim, Houston and Kansas City are tied up at 14 apiece in the 4th quarter. Tennessee over Jacksonville 12-7. Baltimore leads Cincinnati 23-9. And Minnesota leads Chicago 20-9. All of those are 4th quarter scores.
3rd and 6 at the 35-yard line. These fans who have been on and off the bandwagon of the Rams, on it at the moment, making some noise as Brooks heads to the shotgun. Calls for the football. Well protected. Now he rolls right. Being chased. Throwing on the run. The ball is tipped up in the air and incomplete. Rich Cody had a hand on it. He tipped it up in the air, and the ball fell to the turf at the 42-yard line of the Rams, incomplete. So the Saints trying to take some time off the clock, run effectively on first down for 4, then throw incomplete on the next 2 downs, and the Saints will have to give the ball back to the Rams right away. These Rams still do not have a turnover collected through nearly 4 games. The only team in the NFL that has not. Here's Berger's punt, very high, calling for a fair catch at his 19-yard line, and executed by Sean McDonald at the 20-yard line of the Rams. Now the Rams are trailing by 5, 22-17. The Saints have played by far their most inspired and clean football of the early season. It is the Rams who have been guilty of the false starts, the crucial penalties for the most part. The Saints have played smart. They've played hard. and they are trying to hold on for a much-deserved victory. The Rams have scored 17 points in each of their first 2 games. That's where they are right now. On first down from the 20, Bulger with some time throws, and it's caught on the far sideline by Torrey Holt. He stretches out and appears to have the first down. Fakir Brown on the coverage at the 30-yard line.
Well, one thing that the Rams have done consistently all day long is that when Bulger has some time back there in the pocket, he has really picked the Saints apart defensively, going against the secondary, going against the Saints linebackers, things like that. What the Saints have to do, they have to find a way to get some pressure on Bulger right now if they're going to come with that 4-man rush.
First and 10 for the Rams at the Ram 30-yard line. 5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Saints leading 22-17. Bulger up under center with 4 wide receivers. Holt goes in motion left to right. Bulger drops, throws over the middle, catch is made by Holt. A short reception up to around the 33-yard line. Jay Bellamy on his back immediately. Give him 4 on the reception.
I mean, if you're Rick Venturi, you're very content to give the Rams those type of plays. Make the quarterback drop back, just make a little 3-4 yard completion over the middle. One thing you don't want to give up is something in that 12-15 yard range where now you swap ends of the field.
2nd and 6 at the Ram 34. Cleveland splits out wide to the left. He has been totally silent today after making a lot of noise in the locker room in the course of the week. Here's Bulger dropping, looking right, throwing left underneath the coverage. Move is made by Marshall Faulk. Now a second, but the Saints converge and drop him at the 36-yard line. It'll be a pickup of just a couple as Bulger again has to throw underneath. Clock continues to move and shows less than 4 minutes remaining.
We give a lot of credit there to Derek Rogers. He was the guy that got out there and hemmed Marshall Faulk up. Marshall made a little move on him. Derek grabbed a hold of him, didn't make the tackle as a solo tackle, but it gave the Saints defense enough time to converge on him and stop him for a minimal gain.
Courtney Watson back in there now at middle linebacker after some cramps. 3rd and 3 at the Ram 37. Split backs. Bruce in motion. Bulger to throw. Has time again. Throws, and it's wide of Isaac Bruce and incomplete. Courtney Watson on the coverage. Are the Rams in 4-down territory? Bulger seems to think so. He just looks to the bench for the next play on 4th and 3 at the Ram 37.
Well, I mean, Mark Bulger does the right thing. He found the mismatch he was looking for, his best receiver against the Saints rookie linebacker, and now Mike Martz has sent Landetta out there on the field, and the fans are not real happy about that. And to be perfectly honest with you, I'm a little surprised to see him sending his punter out as well.
I am too. So the challenge will revert to the Saints offense to stay on the field and go on a long time-consuming drive. 3:26 left in this game. Landetta to punt it away. He stands back at his 22. Hangs it high and deep. Lewis retreats inside his 10. He'll field it at the 8. Michael Lewis up to the 15. Room up the middle of the field. He slipped a tackle in a second. He's up to the 40, the 42-yard line. Michael Lewis with a huge return for the Saints. And listen to this Rams nation.
And I'm going to tell you what, Jim, you know what that was a case of right there? Sean Landetta outkicked his coverage. I mean, he just hit a boomer, and I mean, you know, if it was a situation where the Saints were trying to play it safe and Michael Lewis would have called for a fair catch, it would have been a great thing, but he kicked it so deep, his coverage didn't have any chance to get down there, and that gave Michael an opportunity to survey the whole field and see where the soft spots were.
34-yard return. Adam Archuleta on the tackle. 3:12 remaining. Rams have 3 timeouts, so do the Saints. 1st and 10 New Orleans at the Saint 42. Stecker, the tailback in the I formation, gets the call. Aaron Stecker slips a tackle, and he is into Ram territory to the 48-yard line and close to the first down. The Saints have dominated for the most part in time of possession, particularly back in the first quarter, and they appear to have worn down this Ram defense somewhat. That's a 10-yard gain.
Well, I mean, I kind of came into this game saying that, you know, a lot of people around the country, especially Saints fans and the Rams fans, you know, they're kind of looking at the Saints running back situation right now saying, who is Aaron Stecker? Well, you know what? At least today, he has proven a point on his part that, hey, I'm more than capable of carrying part of the load for this running game.
Closing in on the century mark. 14 carries for 98 yards. And the Saints have done it before with backup running backs here. Gerald Moore, Chad Morton, Terry Allen have come in here when Ricky Williams was injured back in the early years of the Jim Haslett era. And the Saints have come out with 2 victories in 2 tries in a very hostile place to play. We see a lot of Ram fans heading for the exits.
Well, apparently they don't think that the Rams defense is going to be capable of stopping the Saints offense. They're trying to get an early jump on it. But yeah, I mean, this is still a ball game right now.
Oh, yes, it is. 1st and 10, Saints at the Ram 48. Stecker, he's got another hole inside the 40. He's got 100 yards, and he has a first down. And the Saints drive continues. That's a play that so many teams in the NFL run, that fake end around, then give it straight ahead to the running back. The Saints almost never use it. It's called a ghost play, and they've set that up by running Dante Stallworth earlier in the game, got the Rams conscious of that, and Stecker broke it off. He's now got 15 carries for 104 yards.
Well, I mean, if this whole thing holds up, I mean, we pick a Saints player of the game every game, win or lose, but I mean, strong consideration has to be given to Aaron Stecker in this ball game.
1st and 10, Saints at the Ram 37. 2:20 to play. Stecker again. Archuleta crowding the line of scrimmage, meets him right at the point of attack and brings him down. 2:13 to play. The Rams going to call their 2nd timeout, and we'll have 1 remaining.
And the reason I brought that whole thing up, I mean, all right, you got Aaron Stecker. We know what he's done on the ground today. How about the performance that Charles Grant has had today? Aaron Brooks' numbers are not dazzling today, but, he's been careful with the football. He's made the huge throws when he had to. You look at John Carney, the way that he's performed on special teams, both as the kickoff man and kicking field goals. So, I mean, there's a lot of praise to go around.
There's a raft of heroes at the moment for the Saints. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
From the heart of the Crescent City, this is WWL New Orleans, an Entercom communication station, AM 870, the news, talk, and sports leader.
2nd and 11 for the Saints at the Ram 38. Wideouts left and right, backs in an eye. Now they are offset with Carney, the fullback, moving to his right. Rams coming. This will be blown dead. Saints must have moved in anticipation of this Ram run blitz, and that's exactly what happened.
Offense number 85. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
That's former Ram Ernie Conwell, and not only does that cost the Saints 5 yards, it's essentially another timeout that the Rams get with 13 seconds remaining before the 2-minute warning.
Oh, yeah, and, you don't expect that coming from one of your veteran players, and then you couple that with, it's not like this crowd is real loud right now, so it's not like the Saints offense that has trouble hearing Aaron Brooks.
2nd and 17 from the Ram 44. Backs offset. Here's Brooks giving it to Stecker on the delay. Hit immediately by the linebacker. There'll be a loss on the play as Tina Isamoa brings down Aaron Stecker as the Saints reach the 2-minute warning.
2-minute warning.
And we've reached that 2-minute warning on the Saints Radio Network. The teams get a warning, but more than 50,000 non-smokers across the United States who die each year from secondhand smoke don't.
Critical play for the Saints here on 3rd and 18 from the Ram 45. If you don't pick up the first down, you'd like to get enough to perhaps attempt a field goal. It would make it an 8-point lead. The last thing in the world Brooks wants to do is have a turnover here as he's in the shotgun. Stepping up, throwing, and it is caught by Joe Horn at the 32-yard line, short of the first down, but that should give the Saints an opportunity to attempt a field goal here that could be huge.
I tell you what, I mean, it was a big play right there because, that's a tall order, 3rd and 18 to try and pick up a first down.
13-yard gain.
And guys, we've had no Hibernia National Bank challenges, brought to you by Hibernia National Bank, the official bank of the New Orleans Saints. Right now, open a Hibernia personal or business checking account and get a deluxe cooler seat free. Make Hibernia your official bank and trust all your financial needs with the one you know, Hibernia, where service matters.
The football will be spotted at the 33-yard line. So this should be a field goal in the vicinity of 50 yards. John Carney has hit from 52, 53, and 39. It will be a 51-yard attempt from the left hash mark. And this could be the kill shot in this game, should Carney connect. Bauman calls for the ball. Placement, kick, plenty of leg, and this one he has missed. Wide left. And so the Rams still have a pulse. With 1:48 remaining, they trail by 5, 22-17.
It just goes to show you how little things can come back to haunt you. I mean, the Ernie Conwell illegal motion penalty that really set the Saints in the hole. I mean, they did a nice job after they got the ball back, being able to run the football a little bit, pick up some first downs, make the Rams burn their timeouts, and then all of a sudden you get into a situation where it's 3rd and 18, and like I said, that's a pretty tall order to ask your offense to go out there and convert on that.
And so the Rams will have the football at the Ram 41 with no timeouts remaining. 1:48 on the clock. They trail by 5. Bulger out of the shotgun, lots of time. Going to throw a wobbly pass downfield and incomplete. Poorly thrown. And the Ram fans either wanted interference, and apparently that's what they do want, or they're just upset with their offense.
Well, I'm not exactly sure that maybe they don't have a complaint right there, because I think it was Ashley Ambrose that said when the receiver came out of there and ran the corner route, when he swiveled his hips open, he did make some contact downfield. Now, it wasn't anything blatant, but, with some of the other little tacky calls that we've seen, that flag definitely could have been thrown.
2nd and 10 for the Rams from their 41, 1:42 to play. 22-17 Saints. Bulger in the shotgun. Calls for the football. Going to throw to the sideline. Broken up by Ashley Ambrose. Intended for McDonald at the 40-yard line. And it brings up 3rd down.
I tell you what now, Ashley has had his opportunities today. Without question. I think Mark Bulger and Mike Martz have looked at that tape and said, the guy's lost his step. We're going to throw at him. And they've thrown at him a bunch today. But Ashley has come up with a lot of breakups.
Yes, he has. Spent his best game of the season, although he had an interception in each of the first 2. 3rd and 10 from the Ram 41, 1:37 to play. A field goal does the Rams no good. They have to put it in the end zone. Bulger out of the shotgun, 2 wideouts to the left, 1 to the right. He calls for the football, steps up, delivers to the sideline, catch is made at midfield. Fakir Brown bringing down the receiver at midfield. The clock continues to run. Apparently, now they've stopped it with 1:30 to play.
Well, I think what the fans are booing about is that they didn't think that the official gave him his forward progress marking on the ball right there, because it looks like he is just slightly beyond the sticks, but where he got tackled and came out of bounds, it was behind it, and that's where the officials marked it, and that sends them to a 4th down situation.
Right, a 9-yard gain when it looked to be a first down before the contact.
Well, I think the official's going to look at it right now. It's inside of the 2-minute warning, so, this is something that they can review where the spot of the ball was.
Yes, they can, and will do so upstairs. Mike Martz has had a lot of criticism here in St. Louis for his use of replay and challenges. He's out of timeouts, but he doesn't have to worry about it, because in the final 2 minutes of each half, it's covered by the people upstairs, and they want another look to see if that catch by the receiver on the far sideline was good for the first down. If not, it's going to bring up 4th and a yard. If they respot the football, it's 1st and 10.
Well, I personally think that he had enough yardage for the first down.
Forward progress with regards to the line of game.
Catch was made by Dane Looker, and it's going to be reviewed. Well, this has been one heck of a game. It's been a great series between these two teams. Usually comes down to something like this. And the Saints have really played well today. You could say they're deserving of this victory. You could say last week they were undeserving of the win they got against the 49ers. But no fault today in their effort on either side of the football. Our referee, still under the hood, is Bill Vinovich. And he's going to take a long look at it. You saw it as it occurred, and you thought he had the first down.
I thought he was just, probably about a foot beyond the sticks. And, of course, as he turned to go upfield, and Fakir Brown hit him, and it just pushed his momentum over into the Saints bench, and it went behind the first down markers. But I really and truly think that his forward momentum was enough to get the first down for the Rams.
Jim Haslett drained and perspiring on the far sideline.
Much like me. I mean, my heart's pumping like right now like it did in the year 2000, you know, because there were so many games that were like this. You know, the 49ers out there in San Francisco, and, you know, the game against the Rams and everything else. One of them just nail-biters that come right down the end of it, and it's been a heck of a ball game, and I guess that's why I got the
After reviewing the play, the runner's forward progress is the 48-yard line, which results in a first down.
Replay goes the Rams' way, and they have a first down. 1st and 10 at the Saint 48. 1:21 to play. The Saints trying to cling to a 5-point lead, 22-17. The Rams out of timeouts. The Saints bring Darren Howard inside on the pass rush here. They have Will Smith at right defensive end, Brian Young at right tackle. Darren Howard inside at left tackle now, and Charles Grant, who's had a huge day, at left defensive end as the officials continue to hold up play here. As the referee is going to consult with the line judge in front of Jim Haslett and the Saints bench. Probably trying to figure out exactly how much time there was on the clock. That would be the guess anyway, as they have decreed that it was a first down on the catch by Looker, who was knocked backward on the contact by Fakir Brown. Start the clock, and it shows under 1:20 to play. Bulger from the shotgun. Dropping, looking, lots of time, throwing short, near sideline. Marshall Faulk runs to the sideline, gets out of bounds. A short gain to the Saint 44. Used about 11 seconds off the clock, and 1:09 remains. A 4-yard reception by Faulk.
Well, he's always a scary object to have out there in the open field when he just runs that little flare route like right there. I mean, he only picks up 5 yards, but he knows the smart thing to do. Get everything he can, step out of bounds to stop that clock, because the Rams are without any timeouts.
2nd and 6 at the Saint 44. 1:09 to play. Bulger up under center this time with 2 wideouts to either side. He drops, he looks, he pumps, he's going to throw deep down the far sideline. He's got a receiver, and it's out of bounds. Caught on the far sideline by Sean McDonald, but out of bounds as he was wide open.
And I'm going to tell you what, I mean, Tabucky Jones was lucky right there, because he had gotten beaten down the sidelines, and just the receiver didn't keep his feet in. Let's go right down to Kenny Wilkerson real quick. Kenny?
It happened right in front of him. I mean, he just kind of bit McDonald. Just a mistake on his part. He didn't have to run out of bounds, and the throw was there, but he just kind of got tangled up a little bit. If not only would it have been he caught the football had he not, stepped on the line, but he probably would have gotten to the end zone.
3rd and 5 from the Saint 43. Bulger under center. Drops, looks, throws the slant. It's caught by Bruce inside the 30. Running to the sideline. He won't get there. He gets to the 25-yard line. It's a first down. The Rams can come up to the line of scrimmage and spike the football. 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line if they choose not to run a play. Bulger gets everybody set, does spike the ball with 41 seconds remaining. That was an 18-yard grab by Isaac Bruce. He stepped out of his shoe in the process of being tackled. Well, this is another classic between these two teams. They've played a bunch of them. It'll bring up 1st and 10 at the 25. With 41 seconds remaining. Bulger in the shotgun. Dropping, looking, having time, throwing to the near sideline. Holt will step out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. A gain of 6.
throw the ball in the flat. You can throw a hook route, curl route. You can try the end zone. I mean, this is not something that's an all or nothing for him.
It is third down at the 19. Bulger in the shotgun, feeling some pressure, running with the football, got some room.
No.
He's going to take it all the way.
19 yards is where Mark Bulger up the middle. I mean, that's not the guy that you expect to beat you. I mean, with all the weapons that the Rams have, Mark Bulger to go on a 19-yard scramble right up the gut. I mean, he goes from almost being sacked to just tucking the ball and taking it right up the gut for the go-ahead score.
Mark Bulger without a yard rushing for 2 games. Scampers 19 yards through the heart of the Saints defense for the Rams, who retake the lead 23-22. Now Bulger's going to come back on as they will try for 2 and a 3-point lead if they're successful. A 19-yard Mark Bulger scramble as the Saints defense cannot stop the Rams from moving downfield without a timeout and putting it in the end zone. Just 28 seconds remaining. Ram fans who were heading for the exits earlier on their feet now, applauding the effort of Mark Bulger. They ran it once before for 2 with Falk. This time they'll throw it, and the catch is made on a sliding grab by Kevin Curtis. And so the 2-point conversion is successful, and now the best the Saints can do with a field goal in the final seconds would be a tie at 25-22.
I mean, what the Saints have to rely on right now, they have to try and get some kind of big return out of Michael Lewis, and the Rams are going to squib kick it, but the Saints do have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. There's 28 seconds remaining in the ball game, so they've got an opportunity with a good return, a couple of nice pass plays down the field that they can get into field goal range.
Courtney Watson in the middle as the middle linebacker just vacated that position and ran to his right with a perhaps intended receiver, and once he vacated that area, Mark Bulger just took it right up the gut and in from 19 yards out as the Rams have now gotten off that 17-point mark that they had been stuck on through nearly 3 games, and they take the lead in a game in which they've been dominated in many areas by the Saints, but the Saints unable to run out the clock. John Carney unable to make another field goal in excess of 50 yards. The Rams getting one more opportunity, and perhaps the opportunity that Mark Bulger needed to win this football game.
Well, you saw right there on the replay the mistake that Courtney Watson made, and you can certainly understand that. I mean, when Marshall Faulk comes out of the backfield, you got to at least know where that guy is. But all that Courtney really needed to do was settle down and say, all right, if Bulger throws the ball to Marshall Faulk, I'm just going to collapse on him and make the tackle right here instead of jumping him like he was playing man-to-man coverage.
Well, we'll see if the Rams will kick the ball away to Michael Lewis, with Jeff Wilkins teeing it up at the 30-yard line. This has been a gut-wrenching 4th quarter for the Saints, who were in control throughout much of this game.
2-point conversion.
It looks like they are reviewing the 2-point conversion. The catch made by Kevin Curtis. And it's being reviewed upstairs. Looked to be a good catch from our vantage point as we see the replay. Still looks to be a good catch.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, what can you say about that? I mean, there's absolutely no way that Ashley Ambrose can get to that ball. The ball was thrown down in the dirt. Conway goes down there, Curtis goes down there and gets the ball. That was just, I don't know. I mean, it really wasn't like it was a great throw, but it was a heck of a catch.
Continuing to look at it, the Saints will go on the road next week to Arizona, ostensibly with the need to win that game to be at 500. A loss here today would make them 1-2, and the Rams 2-1. The Rams next week taking on the San Francisco 49ers on the road, and then Seattle the week after, as the referee continues to look at this. Well, this game has given you all you wanted, except a victory.
That's exactly right. And I'm going to tell you what, and I've said this many times before, I mean, it bothers me when the Saints lose, But as long as they come out here and play competitive football, I can deal with that. And you know what? That's what they did today. If this thing happens to turn out to be a loss for the Saints, I can accept that much more than I can the way that they performed against Seattle, where it was very dull. They didn't seem to have a whole lot of spirit about themselves, anything like that. Now, they still have...
After reviewing the play, it was confirmed that the two-point conversion was complete. Good catch.
So the catch is good. The play stands. The lead is 3. 25-22 Rams. 28 seconds left. The Saints have all 3 timeouts remaining. Remember, Wilkins has been kicking the ball away very strongly. He's forced 1 touchback by Lewis, and Lewis one other time ran the ball out of the end zone after fielding it at a point 5 yards deep in the end zone. Wilkins is going to squib this one downfield. It's going to be picked up by a Saint. And this is Will Smith. Will Smith beyond the 40 to the 41-yard line. And we have 24 seconds remaining. A 9-yard return.
Actually, not a bad little piece of running there by Will Smith. I was hoping that he would maybe turn around and lateral it to Michael Lewis, but he took it up the field. And I mean, hey, that's pretty good field position when you talk about starting out on your 42-yard line.
Well, Aaron Brooks has engineered 12 fourth-quarter game-winning drives. He's never been up against it like he is right now with 24 seconds left in the ball at his 42. Brooks will go to the shotgun. Jerome Pathan split out wide to the left along with Boo Williams. Here's Brooks looking, throwing, goes through the hands of Williams at the 40-yard line, incomplete. Boo Williams having it go through his hands at the Ram 40-yard line. And we have 19 seconds remaining, 2nd and 10.
Well, the ball was a little bit tall, but, you know, it's not like Boo Williams had to really jump and extend for that ball. He just outstretched his hands, and it just went right through him.
Do we have another River City relay in us? Michael Lewis comes on and is split out wide to the right as one of 3 wide receivers. Dante Stallworth to the near side. Brooks throws down the seam, caught by Michael Lewis at the 32-yard line. The Saints will take a timeout. 12 seconds remaining. They are at the Ram 32. That's a 26-yard catch.
And you talk about a throw that was all arm. Aaron was getting a little pressure in the pocket, and he kind of sidestepped to his left a little bit. He didn't really have his feet planted or anything. He had to just throw it all arm because as he was moving away from the pressure, he just couldn't step forward in it. And I tell you what, a heck of a throw and great catch by Michael Lewis. And that should get the Saints in field goal range.
They're at the 33 now. It's a 50-yarder or thereabouts from here.
And let's go right down to Kenny Wilkerson with an Abita Springs Water State Sideline Report.
I'll tell you, up and down all day down here from the bench area, the emotion of this football team as the offense, they were waiting for the kickoff and all that. Everybody down here in shock. The offensive players in shock, defensive players in shock. The only one that was running around with any kind of emotion was Dante Stallworth talking to himself. And then they go out there and make the plays. Now all of a sudden, with that play to Michael Lewis, the whole bench has come back to life.
1st and 10 from the 33. Saints probably have one more chance to run a play before kicking a field goal should they choose to do so. Brooks from the shotgun. Throws over the middle. Boo Williams down to the 20-yard line. The Saints will take another timeout and have 7 seconds remaining. Well, do you take a shot in the end zone here?
Well, he's already bringing out his field goal team. And the reason that you do that, especially when you get inside of that 10-second mark, if there's an offensive penalty, you know how they run time off the clock and all that kind of stuff, you might as well go ahead and say, look, let's just go ahead and settle ourselves on the fact that we're going to take this thing into overtime.
12-yard gain, and on comes John Carney. He had been perfect on the season until his last attempt when he missed from 51. He is hit today from 52, 53, and 39 before that miss from 51 that allowed the Rams to climb back into it and take a 3-point lead. 25-22 with 7 seconds left. Now the ball is right between the hash marks. It will be a 38-yard attempt with Bauman to hold. John Carney to kick. Snap, placement, kick on its way, and it is good. John Carney from 38 yards out with 3 seconds left. Get the defibrillator, baby. Because this one's going to overtime. 3 seconds left, and the Saints go on a game-tying drive.
And let's take this right down to Kenny Wilkerson with an Abita Springs Water Saints sideline report. Kenny, you carry it for a while, bud.
It's unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. I tell you what, Charles Grant, he kind of came over to the bench after the touchdown run and sat down just like a deer, with the headlights on him. He hadn't moved. Then all of a sudden they make a couple plays, and you kind of see him coming back to life and kind of raised his eyebrows and kind of looked over at me a minute ago and just started laughing and, wiggling around and like there was something actually happening. The interesting thing is Boo Williams. And let me tell you the story on Boo Williams. Last week, Boo Williams was by himself most of the entire game. There were even times that Jim Haslett came over to the offensive receivers and said, go down there with the line, because McCarthy was talking to everybody, and Boo stayed by himself. Boo has been struggling. Boo did not play very well against Seattle, nor did he play well last week. And after the game, when they reviewed the films, the coaches were all over him. They were all over him during the week, and there was even a confrontation with my Aaron Brooks on Friday where he said something to Brooks, and Brooks just looked at him and said, I don't want to hear it. Just get open. There was more to it than that, but that's the gist of the conversation. And here he is making the play that puts him in the field goal position.
Carney squibs it downfield. It will be picked up at the 10-yard line. Running to the near sideline is Furry and dropped at the 28 on the final play of regulation. Probably half of this crowd has left. A quarter of it left about 5 minutes ago when it looked like the Rams were going to leave. And then another quarter of it left when it looked like the Rams had won the game. And now a whole lot of people are turning around and coming back into the Edward Jones Dome because we've got some lanyap. Free football. Overtime in St. Louis. The Saints went 38 yards in 4 plays in 25 seconds to set up the 38-yard John Carney field goal.
This team, it kind of reminds you of some teams that they had, especially like if you say the 2000 season. I mean, one thing you could say about that team, they would never quit. On any given Sunday, they would never quit. They might get beat because they played a better opponent, but they didn't get beat because they were afraid of their opponent or anything like that. They hung in there tough every ball game, and this has been that kind of game.
Gentlemen, great afternoon. Obviously, we're going into overtime. Each team will have 2 timeouts. First team to score wins. You're still visitors. What is your call? Tails. He calls tails.
Kick that tails!
It is heads. You want the ball. Which way do you want to kick?
Well, the Saints lose the toss of the coin. The Rams will take in the kickoff that begins overtime here in St. Louis. OT, baby. OT. Tied at 25. The Saints and the Rams. This is the New Orleans Saints Radio Network. Welcome back to the Edwards Jones Dome. We are going to overtime. And as we look back, the Saints' last game in overtime was last year on November 18th when they defeated the Falcons 23-20. They will be kicking the ball away left to right. John Carney puts his foot into it. Another good kickoff. Fielded a yard deep, and he's going to come out with it to the 5, the 10, the 15, the 20, the 25, to the 22, rather than the 22-yard line. The return there by Mike Furry.
Well, Jim, I know that there's a certain percentage that, the team that wins the coin toss in overtime wins, X percent of the time. But the thing that bothers me, about whoever won the coin toss is that really neither defense has been able to slow the other offense down.
Yep, there's a Ram shaken up. And that's going to cause a timeout momentarily.
5-yard penalty. Free kick.
And the Saints were offsides. So they're going to have to re-kick. So instead of the Rams having it around their 25, trying to get the Ram who's shaken up, it's a linebacker, Tony Newsom. The Saints are going to have to re-kick. The rule states that you can't have any part of your body, not just your foot.
It's like if you've got forward body lean and your face mask goes across the line, they can throw the flag.
Which seems rather foolish, and you would think it ought to just be your foot rather than to make them look at every body part to see if it's across the vertical line, breaking the plane of the 30-yard line. But that's the case. The Saints were offside, you might remember, to begin the season against Seattle at home, and they have been ruled offsides here again, and so they'll have to kick it away once more. Ram return game is not the best, but this is a tired bunch of Saints out there, as the Rams are equally tired.
Yeah, but I mean, I think right now you get in a situation like this, adrenaline starts taking over. You know, I mean, after regulation ran out, you go over there to the sidelines. You know, there's a commercial break. The official takes everybody out to the middle of the field. They do the coin toss. You get probably 2.5 to 3 minutes there to kind of catch your breath and get ready to go out there. And like I said, I mean, if adrenaline doesn't take over right now, well then that doesn't mean that you're necessarily in really bad shape. It just means that you're not a really good player.
Well, the Rams and the Saints obviously have very accomplished veteran kickers. Jeff Wilkins, 11th-year man out of Youngstown State, perfect on the season. John Carney with just the one miss today from 51 yards, and the 38-yarder that sent this one to overtime now has the football teed up at his 25-yard line. Mike Furry awaits the kick. It is high, it is short. It is Furry with some room to run from the 10, 15, 20, near sideline 25, across the 30, tripped up there. The Rams will start from around their 32-yard line after a 22-yard return. Well, Mark Bulger, who struggled through much of the day, came through with what looked to be the climactic play of this game when he scrambled in on a 19-yard touchdown that, with the two-point conversion, gave the Rams a 25-22 lead with 28 seconds left. The Saints used 25 of it to put themselves in position for a game-tying field goal that John Carney delivered from 38 yards. First and 10 Rams from the St. Louis 32. First play from the line of scrimmage in overtime. Backs offset. This will be blown dead. Movement along the offensive line for the Rams, so the Saints get those 5 yards back.
False start. Offense number 80. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Isaac Bruce, the wide receiver, guilty of the false start.
But Jim, I mean, it kind of gives you an idea, everything that happened in those final 28 seconds, what a head coach in the National Football League has to go through on the sideline. If Mike Martz just decides to line up and go, oh, we're just going to kick the extra point, hey, we've got the lead, hey, Saints march the ball down the field and kick a game-winning field goal, and this thing's over now.
First and 15 from the 27, running it straight ahead, Marshall Faulk. Derek Rogers brings him down around the 35-yard line. A pickup of around 8 yards for Marshall Faulk.
But I guess the point that I'm making about that, I mean, as a head coach, I guess you always have to think the game is never over until there's all zeros up there on the clock and they tell us it's time to go home, because you got to think about those sort of things.
And he did, and it paid off. 2nd and 7 at the Ram 35. 2 wideouts to the near side, 1 to the far. Looker goes in motion left to right. Bulger drops, has time, steps up, delivers the football, and it's going to be complete to the 40-yard line. Freddie Thomas had designs on an interception there as he tried to cut inside Looker. Looker shielded him off and made the catch just beyond the Ram 40-yard line.
I'm going to tell you what, Mark Bulger has made some pinpoint accuracy throws today, and his receivers have come up with some great catches, because there's been several times that Ashley Ambrose has had ideal coverage, and so did Fred Thomas right there, but the ball's just thrown in a spot where they can't get a hand on it.
3rd and 1 at the Ram 41. This would be huge if you could stop them here, because they probably wouldn't go for it on 4th down. They'd kick it away and you'd get an opportunity. Here's Bulger dropping, throws short, and the Saints right on him immediately. Stop him. Short of the first down. He threw underneath the sticks to Torrey Holt. The Saints were on him immediately. He's going to be short.
He's going to be about a yard short. I know you said it was 3rd and 1, but it's actually more like about 3rd and 2.5. And Torrey Holt just doesn't get quite deep enough right there. And Jay Bellamy does a heck of a job. As soon as he catches the ball, just collapses on him, makes the tackle.
The Rams are thinking things over here and going to call for a measurement From our vantage point, he's short. But they're going to bring the sticks in from the near side of the field.
Well, I mean, Mike Marsh is probably asking for that to kind of, get himself an opportunity to gather his thoughts and, hey, what do I want to do right here? Because, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious they're about a yard short, half a yard short.
At the moment, the Rams offense is staying on the field. As they stretch the chains out, they find that the Rams are about 1.5 feet short. Now the fans are yelling, go, go, go for it. And Martz, who is sort of a mad scientist as an offensive coordinator, head coach, sends on an additional fullback and an additional tight end, and he's going to go for it.
Well, I mean, you almost kind of figure that's the kind of stuff that Mike Marsh is going to do. Now, he's got a couple of different options right here, and that, he could try and draw the Saints offsides and, make them commit an offsides penalty or something like that. But, even though they haven't gone to Marshall Faulk all that much in this ball game, he's been pretty successful when they have let him run the ball.
Yep. So let's see what the Rams do here on a gamble by Mike Martz, 4th and 1 in overtime. From the Ram 42-yard line. Backs offset. Bulger going to hand it off to Faulk. Faulk picks his way across the line of scrimmage and has the first down. Just a shard of daylight he found between right tackle and right guard. He dives through it for the first down, just short of the Ram 45. The gamble pays off.
Well, it did pay off, but I tell you what, something that I was a little bit puzzled with right there. I mean, the Saints are, this is a short yardage situation, and they didn't really have their linebackers up on the line of scrimmage. I mean, getting up there and those guys up close to the gaps and all that kind of stuff, they were backed off about 3 or 4 yards.
So the Rams have it at their 45-yard line, 1st and 10. 12:15 to play, first overtime. Crowd quiet. Bulger play action, stepping up into traffic. He throws over the middle, and the catch is made. No, now they're going to say incomplete. Courtney Watson separated Marshall Faulk from the football. Would have been a nominal gain if the completion stood. Well, the Saints haven't risked many blitzes. They've been coming with their front four. Those guys have got to be tired. No matter how many times they've brought people in and out, they've been rushing the passer a lot today and really haven't had too much pressure on Bulger late in the 4th quarter and now into overtime. This is 2nd and 10 from the Ram 45. Half the crowd is here, and those that are here are just quiet and waiting for something to happen. Marshall Faulk sweeping right. Saints chase him down from behind. Bryant on the tackle. A yard, maybe 2 beyond the 45-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd and passing yardage from Mark Bulger.
Oh, I'm telling you what, that was good pursuit down the line of scrimmage by Tony Bryant. Sometimes you have to read those keys and everything else so you can be alert from misdirection. You got to stay deeper in the backfield. But generally speaking, when the Rams hand the ball off to Marshall Faulk, he's the one that's going to be carrying. Tony Bryant did a nice job flattening down the line, run him down from behind.
3rd and 9 from the Ram 46. Saints trying to force a turnover or a Ram punt that would give them an opportunity in overtime. 3 wideouts to the near side, 1 to the far. Saints showing blitz. Rams may have moved. The Saints were coming up to the line of scrimmage and showing blitz, and the Saints may have forced the Rams to move. Now Will Smith is complaining, so maybe it's going to go against New Orleans.
Number 62.
Well, they're calling a false start
for 3rd down.
on the right guard, Adam Timmerman. 5-yard penalty, and that'll make things a little tougher. We mentioned a stat earlier in the game. The teams last week that forced the more turnovers and had the fewer penalties won every game. The Saints have forced the only turnover of this game, and they have had fewer penalties than the Rams. So now the line of scrimmage is the Ram 41, and it is 3rd and 14. Holt split out wide to the right. Bruce along with Looker wide left. Bulger up under center. Saints rush just 3. Drop 8. Bulger throws down the near sideline, and it is incomplete. Contact on the near sideline with Fred Thomas and Dane Looker, but no flag. And Sean Landetta comes on to punt the football away.
I mean, I really think in that situation right there, it was a good no call by the officials because that ball wasn't going to be caught by a looker, regardless if there was any contact down there or whatever, because it was thrown out of bounds.
Yes, it was. Totally uncatchable ball thrown off the field of play. So Sean Landetta, back to punt, stands at his 26-yard line. Back deep is Michael Lewis. This one's returnable. Lewis from his 18, running to the near sideline, 25. Cuts it against the grain beyond the 30, up to around the 32-yard line. That's where the Saints will have it as they touch the football offensively for the first time in overtime. Does Aaron Brooks still have the magic that he had in the waning seconds of the fourth quarter? Can he march the Saints downfield for John Carney? Can he give Carney one more opportunity to be the hero of this game? As the Saints move to offense, that's the question the next few minutes will solve for us. 10:42 remaining in overtime. I hope you used a lot of deodorant this morning because this has been a nail-biter and a sweat shop through most of the second half and into overtime. Aaron Brooks comes up to the line of scrimmage. 1st and 10 from the Saint 33. 2 wideouts to the left. Back split. Brooks looks to throw. Does. Catch is made by Stallworth. Stallworth beyond the 40, beyond the 45, has the first down up around the Saint 47-yard line. A pickup of 14 yards for Dante Stallworth and Aaron Brooks. Nothing cozy about that. They came out firing right away.
Hey, you got to be really pleased with Aaron Brooks' attitude right now. I mean, his poise in the pocket, even with 28 seconds remaining in regulation, you didn't see any panic on the guy's face. I mean, calmly marched the team down the field, kind of opens up the overtime same way.
21 of 36 for 284 for Brooks on first down. Play action. Brooks throws, catch is made. Boo Williams inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. Boo Williams with another huge catch as he taunts the Rams bench heading back to the huddle.
And let's go right down to Kenny Wilkerson winning the Abita Springs Water Saints sideline report.
Yeah, good thing they don't call a flag on that, too. I tell you, you say what you want about Aaron not being the leader, not getting down here and hemming and hawing and yelling and screaming and everything, but that whole time after the Rams had gotten the go-ahead touchdown, while everybody was being quiet and Dante Stallworth was talking to himself, Aaron Brooks was just very calm, and this is what he does best right now.
1st and 10 from the Ram 36. Rams show blitz. Brooks drops 3 steps, pumps twice, throws it away. He threw it over the head of Boo Williams in the flat. He wanted the slant. When he saw it was covered, he wisely threw the ball away and stopped the clock. Brooks has done a great job in the last couple of years of making good decisions, not putting the ball at risk. He really only threw into coverage that I can recall once today. He's been going to the right place with the football, running with it when he has to, throwing it away when he needs to. 2nd and 10 for the Saints at the Ram 36-yard line. 2 wideouts to the left. They are Stallworth and Horn. Here's Brooks. He's going to throw to Stallworth. Stallworth with Stecker blocking. Stallworth to the sideline and out of bounds at the 25-yard line.
Now you
give Aaron Stecker some credit for the block out in the left flat.
Absolutely. I mean, that was a point I was going to make. That was a very heads-up play. I mean, Stecker was just an outlet valve out there. When he saw Dante catch the ball, I mean, that's what you got to do. When the ball's thrown downfield, you got to break to it because you never know what's going to happen. He put himself in position to make the block that enabled Dante Stallworth to pick up the first down.
That's an 11-yard gain. John Carney on the far sideline, kicking into the net. Mike Martz on the near sideline, still very placid, in control. 1st and 10 Saints at the Ram 25, trying to win this thing in overtime. Stecker, left side, nothing there. Maybe a loss of a yard. This is so crazy. Now the fans are heading for the exits again.
They say, well, that's it. The Saints are in field goal range. But, I mean, this has been one of them kind of games. It's just been back and forth enough to, I don't know who's going to win the thing. I know the Saints are in prime position right now to win it.
The line of scrimmage is the 25-yard line. You're talking about a 42-yard field goal should they go no further. 2nd and 11 from the 26. Obviously, Brooks cannot take a sack. Play action. He's going to run with it. Left side, Aaron Brooks inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. The young man who ran for 2 touchdowns here in his NFL debut against the Rams on the quarterback keeper. And now the Saints are really in field goal territory at the 13-yard line, and they will wait no longer for John Carney to hopefully decide this thing. That's a 12-yard Aaron Brooks scamper, and what a great play call that was.
Oh, and for a lot of people that say, Mike McCarthy he's conservative and he doesn't do this and he doesn't do that. I mean, the Rams are stacked up there to stop the running game, so what do? They fake it to Aaron Stecker going to the right. Aaron Brooks just tucks it, goes on the naked bootleg around the left side. Nobody out there to touch him.
Saints will call a timeout. This will be a 31-yard field goal when we return to action.
New Orleans, first charge timeout.
John Carney staying on the field, and Jim Haslett saying stay on the field as well. Now, John Carney, I remember doing a story with him in preseason about what happened last year against Jacksonville, and he said he almost couldn't put on the uniform for that last game against the Cowboys. But when he came back against the Cowboys, hit a couple there, really decided the game. He said he went into the offseason with a totally different attitude. He's worked harder than he ever has. The man's 40 years old, and today his leg strength has probably been greater than any time we've seen him as a Saint.
Based on what he's done today, you would sit around here and you would really say to yourself, why have they had anybody? Why did they use anybody to kick off for him? I mean, he's kicked everything down to the goal line.
This will be from the left hash mark, 31 yards. John Carney has 11 game winners in the NFL, 3 as a Saint, trying to make it 4. Bauman will put it down. Snap, placement, it's down. The kick is up, and it is good. And the Saints have won the game of the week in the NFL with John Carney connecting from 31 yards out. And the hated Rams are vanquished here in St. Louis in overtime.
Well, those comments that you were making about John Carney a little while ago, when you're as good a competitor as he is and you want to do everything perfect, you always remember the bad plays a lot more than you do the good plays. So let's go right down to Kenny Wilkerson with an Abita Springs Water.
They start with Dante sitting here waving to the crowd. Wait, hold on. You're sitting there waving to the crowd. I know you wanted the football in overtime there. You seemed like you were running up and down trying to get everybody going. What'd you tell everybody?
See, we gotta go. Keep it going. We gotta keep it going. That's all I can say. That's all I can say.
All right, Dante's kind of jumping on in there, grabbing into with all the rest of the players and stuff. There's been so many players in this game today that came up big when they had to. Another one is Aaron Stecker. I'm going to grab Aaron right now. Aaron, congratulations. I know you told me during the week that you were really pleased last week that you got to show this city and town what you could do. You really put an exclamation mark on it today.
Yeah, all week I've been, watching the news and listening to papers, and they like, we don't got a chance. Aaron Stecker, who never heard of him, blah, this and that. It's not like they took me out of the front office and asked me, do you know how to play running back? This is my job. This is what I do. You know what I'm saying? I came here to get an opportunity. They brought me in to be the backup, and I play running back. And so when my name's called upon, you got to go do what you got to do.
Been on a championship team yourself, before. What can a win like this, what can happen now? Or, you've seen these kind of things where a team, when they're out of it, 28 seconds, goes down and gets it and puts it into overtime and then gets the win.
Yeah, I was telling them, I've been on a championship team, like you said, and it's about finding a way to win. You know what I'm saying? It might not be pretty, it might be ugly, but it's finding a way to win. And that's what we did when we was in Tampa. Our offense was slow. Defense had to pick up games, and they won games for us until our offense did. But it's about believing in one another and finding a way to win. It doesn't matter how, like I said, it doesn't matter how you get done, as long as you get done. Because now we 2-1. Could have easily quit over there before and been 1-2, but you see how quick it can change. Now we 2-1. We'll go home, look at the film, and look forward to Arizona.
This was by far the cleanest you guys have played so far this year.
I wouldn't say the cleanest, but we still made mistakes out there, but that's a good thing. We still made mistakes, and we got an opportunity to win the game. If we can clean all that up and we get on all cylinders, we're going to score a lot of points.
Thank you, Aaron. Congratulations. That's Aaron Stecker down here as I'm going to go back upstairs as the team leaving the field right now. We're going to head into the locker room, and we'll go back up to our own Larry Matson. Larry?
All right, Kenny, once again, the final score in OT, 28-25. Saints win, Saints win, Saints win. Stay tuned for the Dodge Ram Locker Room Show coming up next on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Jim Haslett. You know, Jim, in 5 years, you've said 1,000,000 times, it's the little things. And it was the little things today.
Well, it was everybody contributed. It was a great, I thought, from the coaching staff all the way down. I thought the coaches did an outstanding job calling the game on both sides of the ball. Al did a nice job on special teams. But, you know, in reference to the game, the players themselves, you know, you could give anybody a game ball. Carney, Aaron Brooks was outstanding. Stecker was outstanding. The offensive line did a nice job. The receiver stepped up when they had to. Boo Williams finally came out of the closet. The defensive line had 5 sacks. Charles Grant had 3. The linebackers hung in there as good as they could against those great receivers. And the corners, we struggled early at the passing game, but I thought we got better at what we were doing later as the game went on. But special teams, again, you know, outstanding.
It seemed like, and I know that you told them at halftime, hey, just do what we're doing. In the second quarter, you kind of start finding some things, and everybody kind of start perking up a little bit. Like, okay, well, we've been feeling like we're getting better as a football team, but now we're starting to put it on the field.
Well, I thought this week was the best preparation we've ever had, or since 2000 that we had getting ready for a game. And maybe it's the Rams, and hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's just something that we continue to do the whole year. But I thought the closeness of this football team was finally there. That guys really rallied around one another and hung in there, and there was no panic ever on the sideline, even when they took the lead with 28 seconds. And you know, it was it was the ultimate team win. It was a great win for us.
There really wasn't any panic. It was very quiet on the sidelines, except for Dante, who kept running around up and down, talking to himself. And Aaron stayed calm. Again, so many times. What is it about the pressure when everybody says he can handle pressure that he comes through like that?
I wish people would get off him because, you know, he's proved week in and week out that he's a great quarterback. He's got outstanding numbers. His numbers are just outstanding. And today he did it again with 28 seconds and led us down to a tying field goal and led us down to the win. So the guy's got something about him right now. I know we're not doing anything complicated. We're keeping things basically pretty simple on both sides of the ball and really trying to take advantage of the players we have.
You mentioned the play calling, and Mike McCarthy was able to mix it up, and you were able to do some things today that y'all haven't done in weeks 1 and 2 with different plays, different formations.
Well, we did it based on what they do on defense, and we just try to take advantage of the players that had a couple injuries, and they had some guys playing out of position. Archuleta was playing nickel in certain situations, so we were just trying to get some different mismatches.
Did you give Mitch Berger an award for his acting? I mean, he took a bow to the crowd when they showed it. Replay.
I don't give punters anything.
Hey, Jim, congratulations.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Jim Haslett down here. And I'm going to send it back upstairs to you, Larry, and then we're going to head our way into the locker room and see if we can get some of the players.
All right, we'll be back with the Dodge Ram Locker Room Show and interviews from that locker room here in the Dome in St. Louis in just a moment. Right now, a timeout on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network. 3 sacks today.
Okay, Larry, thanks a lot. You're definitely one of the players that have been saying since camp, just stick with us, we're going to be fine. Today it showed.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to keep believing and keep having faith in the guys that go out there and do a great job, you know. I tell this is for New Orleans. I tell you, all you do is just keep believing in all these guys over here, man, and we're going to bring this city something truly remarkable to this city and make them proud and make everybody else proud. If you just keep believing, because the city just don't understand, if they all keep believing in what the New Orleans Saints can do, man, this will be a positive thing. Because y'all are what makes us and makes our heart beat fast when you hooping and hollering in domes and all this good stuff all across America. So I think this victory is for New Orleans, you know, and everybody in New Orleans should be proud of this victory, even your radio station.
Charles, at the end there, and when Bulger ran it up, you came to the sidelines. It was 28 seconds left on the clock. Kind of sat down. You looked like you were in shock. But yet after the offense came out and made 1 or 2 plays, everybody kind of got back up on their feet, and it looked like, you know, everybody believed, okay, yeah, we can tie this thing up and we can win this thing.
I was in shock because that was a play I should have made in a sense. But then, you know, things happen, and you know, you just got to get that heartbeat going. And the offense came back out of that deal. They get paid to make plays. AB threw great passes. Boodham caught great passes. Him and Joe Horn, them, and
hey, we put the ball where we need to do in a situation for us to get back in overtime and make a ball game. You see what happened in the end. Defense did what they had to do to hold them from not scoring. And then the offense turned around and moved the ball down the field like a breeze. And that's how we get a victory there. We're victorious.
Hasler told me a minute ago that he thought this was the best week that he's seen, maybe all the way back to 2000. Not necessarily preparation, because I think anybody that was at practice knew that you guys had some days where it was a struggle out there. But as far as you guys hanging together as a group and as a football team, you agree with that?
I agree with it. It's been a closer day. You come here, a great leader like Wayne got that hypeness going. That's what teams do, man. We just got to keep our focus and maintain a consistent rep on what we do. Don't let this here just make us fat and be happy with this win here, man. We got to just keep pushing forward and keep pushing forward. And we could be a great team all around, offense and defensively.
Last week's win was one of those kind that make you kind of maybe scratch your head and say, well, you never know. But this is the kind of win that really can propel a football team.
Yes, it can. 28 seconds, the offense move the ball down the field like that.
Right.
Defense, you got to go out. You got to go back out there overtime and stop them, you know. That's the thing we got to, we got to get used to each other, dependent on each other. Offense, defense, special team do a great job. And hey, just know everything going to be situated through God and know that he's going to take care of the situation at hand.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, Charles Grant down here. With that, I think we're going to be wrapping it up. As you were saying, Larry, yeah, a very happy locker room, victorious locker room, and I'm sure it'll be a nice ride home for a change.
All right, Kenny, thank you very much. Taking a look at that Indianapolis-Green Bay game, they're still, their early second quarter is still 21-14, but the interesting point here,
28-14.
28-14 now. It looks like it'll be with the Colts getting a touchdown. The interesting point here was the first quarter, the Colts had 247 yards total offense, all passing, no rushing, and they just added that total up more because of a long touchdown pass, it appears, here in the second quarter with Peyton Manning going deep.
Brandon Stokely.
Brandon
Stokely, yeah.
To Brandon Stokely, the former USL player, and Louisiana Lafayette now, and Nelson Stokely's son. So that's a nice hook up there. All right, Hokie, any final comment here, and then a look ahead to Arizona?
I mean, it's just an exciting game. I thought the Saints really played a competitive ball game today. I mean, what I saw out of that football team today looked a lot more like the team that we saw in 2000. You know, I mean, now this is 2004, and I think I've seen too many lackluster Sundays out of this group, but today they never gave up.
Well, you said you wanted to see more emotion, more enthusiasm, more pep in the team, and
saw it.
And they had it today.
Without question, they had it today.
All right, now Arizona, they lose today 6-3 when they had a chance to. They could have possibly tied it with a minute and something left at the 13-yard line. They run a play, they fumble, and lose the football game.
Well, I mean, I know Dennis Green is heartbroken about that, but, those are the kind of things that happen when you've got a program that has not been very good and you take over in year one as that head coach. If you got a lot of things to get worked out, and I'm sure that Dennis Green is going to sit down with his team and say, look, we had this ball game right there, and we let it slip away. We can't do that anymore.
Of course, it would have helped the Saints out with the win over Atlanta, but that's the way that cookie crumbles, too. All right. All right, that's going to do it from the Dome away from home here in St. Louis. We're going to send it back to Network Control with Mark Tafisi for highlights of this exciting overtime game right after this.
The WWL 870 AM Business to Business Expo will define the direction of your business. A selling environment of business owners and managers who come seeking the latest business products, services, and
welcome to the Point After. This is Buddy D on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network, and we're broadcasting from Danny's Seafood in the French Quarter, corner of Dauphine and Nippeville. We're here after every Saints game, home and away. If ever a team needed a win in a game like today's, it was the New Orleans Saints, and they got it. If this doesn't give the Saints impetus to go into Arizona next week and run their record to 3-1, nothing will. There were heroes galore. Place kicker John Carney, 5 field goals, 52 yards, 53 yards, 39 yards, 38 yards to send it in overtime, and then 31 yards for the game winner in OT. Aaron Brooks threw for over 300 yards, 316 yards, and a TD, and he showed poise in the clutch. Running back Aaron Stecker, filling in for Bruce McAllister, went over the 100-yard mark, 106 yards and 18 carries. Big. Phil Horn with 7 catches for 91 yards, including you had to see it, touchdown catch on a deflected pass. Charles Grant with 3 sacks and an emotion that seemed to be contagious throughout the team. Most importantly, the Saints showed something that has been missing: heart. especially when the Rams scored and went ahead by 3 with only 24 seconds left in regular play, only to have the Saints use the clock and precision plays to get into position for a tying field goal and force the overtime. This one will leave a good taste in the mouths of Saints fans, and it should. It was special. We'll continue with the point after in a moment.
What do you do?
Ricky. Ricky?
Buddy, can you hear me?
Yes, I do.
Buddy, 2 statements and a question. Statement number 1 with regards to the booing last week when Haslam said, and I can quote him, they just do it differently down here. I'm here in St. Louis, and they booed Mike Martz. And I was here in Philadelphia last year, and they booed Andy Reid. And both of those coaches have brought more to their fans than Jim Haslett. The second statement, I think the defense and the offense stepped it up when they needed to. When we lost that coin toss in overtime, I didn't think, as well as any Saints fan, I didn't think we were going to stop them. And we did. We stepped it up. And my question is, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we blinched a single time today. And I think when you know Mike Martz, everyone in the country knows he's passing the football. Why aren't we coming after the Bulger? And I'm just going to listen to your answer and hang up.
All right, well, let me say to you, the Rams under Martz have only lost 9 times in the Edward Jones Dome, and 3 of those losses have come to Jim Haslett's Saints. They're 3-0 going into St. Louis in the Haslett era, and certainly today it was a game. If they played games like this every week, I think you'd have fans that would be back and interested, and you're not going to win all the kind of games like this, but the effort was there, the top plays were there, and the poise was there when it counted. And that, again, as far as Mike Martz is concerned, I know him and Haslett have a little a side thing, not publicly but privately, but today Haslett, for the 3rd time in St. Louis, got the best of it.